This is the Renaissance Men Podcast, broadcasting live on YouTube and Twitch. Now please welcome your host, Stuart Garrard.
Good evening, and welcome to episode 172 of the Renaissance Men Podcast. I am your host, as always, Stuart Garrard. And you forgot my name there. Well, I didn't know whether it was Stuart David Garrard, but then why would people want to know my middle name? Enough of that. Jimmy the Saint is joining me. Welcome, Jimmy. Hello.
Hey, we're back. We're back, Stu.
It's been so long. I don't know who the hell I am.
I know. No wonder you forgot your name. Have you not spoken for 2 weeks?
No, just been here, mute in this room.
Do you get
poised, ready to record?
Yeah, just ready. Do you get called your name at home, or does your wife call you something like "Hey you" or "You there"?
Kind of like that. Yeah. Yes,
man,
motherfucker, etc., etc. Sorry, that was an expletive in the first 20 seconds. Jimmy, this is episode 172. How the devil are you? It's been a while. Couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's lovely to be here, Stu. I'm pumped. I'm excited. It's been stuff going on over the last 2 weeks. It's been tricky. It's been hard. I've noticed how much weight I've gained from doing. It's one of the issues with doing like podcasts or watch-alongs. I've watched my I looked back over my Star Trek watch-alongs and saw my sort of jowls growing out as they were over the space of like 8 weeks. Just this sort of jowl coming down. I was like, oh my god, it's
all the nuts. I'm telling you, the fatty oil should put into your body.
I don't even want nuts and drink at that point of the night, but I have to do it for the show. So I've been on exercise trip this week, Stu. Listen to this. Sunday, 6 miles I ran. Monday, 6 miles.
Wow.
Tuesday, 5 miles, and I went to the gym. Wow. Wednesday, got up at 6, went to the gym. Went to work, fell asleep. For a while, like I was just out.
You want to steady on? Have you not got a weak heart now? Have we not discovered that your heart is not in best condition?
No, we found out my heart is good.
No. Right.
Strong as an ox. Great. A nervous ox. And then this morning, what was this morning? Friday.
Yes. It's been one of those periods.
I went to the gym Thursday as well. And then this morning I got up and I ran 5 miles at 7:30. So I've been going exercise crazy to try and, get into some sort of but I think I'm done with that now. A week's enough, isn't it?
Back on it. Back on the nuts, I guess. Pardon the expression.
And the Pinot. Yeah. But apart from that, it's been.
How was your Easter? Was it okay?
Oh yeah, it was nice. It was lovely. We had the weekend before the Easter weekend. We had some very good friends round. We had my usual. Yeah, we had my wife's good friends and their husbands and their children. So we were doing some nice Easter egg hunting with all of them.
Lovely, yes.
And then the following weekend, we were all ready for the rabbit. We were, the rabbit, Easter bunny. The Easter bunny was coming because obviously we've got lots of children.
How's your actual rabbit going? Is it still causing?
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
I've seen the pictures. They're horrendous. She's eating everything, isn't he?
Yeah. What did she do earlier? I'm just shitting everywhere. But the Easter bunny, Stu.
Sorry, go on. Yes,
I remember in my day, the Easter bunny would leave maybe five or 6 eggs, which was quite a lot. I was quite a spoiled child. You would never be able to tell. 5 or 6, maybe even 8 Easter eggs round, and I'd go and find them, and it would be lovely for me and my sister. The Easter bunny these days, it leaves 100 eggs, toys.
Cash,
big dinosaur, gold bullion. It leaves everything, Stu. I don't know where the Easter bunny finds the money, Stu. I not know.
I know. It's a completely different beast, isn't it? Easter, not the Easter bunny. That's still a bunny, but I mean, we had quite a nice Easter holidays, and I think the holidays kind of grown somewhat since when we were kids. I mean, yes, you got 2 weeks of school, but and obviously we're only in our mid-20s, so we're not talking that long ago. But Easter seems to have grown exponentially since then, since the early 2000s.
It's been expensive, but kids have had a good time off and ready to chuck them back into school.
Yeah,
so I can stop having to rush about and stuff.
Yeah. So you're rushing around like a madman trying to exercise. I have actually I seem to say this every 12 months or so. I'm rejoining Slimming World. So
hey, you only announce when you join. You never announce when you quit.
I know. Yeah. But the good thing is I've reached such an obesity level that I now can claim 12 free weeks. So happy days.
You deserve a round of applause.
I feel like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer purposely gains 300 pounds so he can get workman's comp. But yeah. So swings and roundabouts, Jimmy.
Stu, how do you? Because I don't think you're that big. Like I've got friends that's similar size to you, and you're tall as well.
Yes, my height saves me some harm, I think.
And when last time we saw each other face to face, which was a while ago, you're not a massive guy. You're just you're just a big guy. What is it that maintains this keeping up there? Because like I remember when me and Lord Doolan and our other friend went to a personal training thing, and pretty much the trainer said to us, if you stop eating cake for 5 minutes, you'll lose weight.
Yeah,
and he had a point. Yeah. Because to lose weight, you just put more, put less in, and you.
Yeah, basic mathematics.
It's basic maths. It's very easy. It's hard to do it, but the actual how to do it is easy. How do you maintain your girth?
I think it's more a lack of activity,
as
opposed to. Well, it's a bit of both, I think. Let's be honest. Probably, I'm a bugger for chocolate and sweets.
I was going to say, what are your danger foods?
Yeah, that's my Achilles cake. It's cake. Well, not cake. So get off the whole cake bandwagon. It's sweets, chocolate, and just not doing enough exercise. I think.
Right.
I went out this afternoon to play some football, and I was a sweaty mess. Absolute sweaty mess.
What, getting there?
That was before I even participated in the football.
Putting your socks on.
So it's a bit of both. A little from column A, little from column E, Jimmy, to be honest. But we'll get there.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Or we'll die. We'll die trying.
It's different for different people, isn't it? Because I could leave. I don't really like sweets. Chocolate, I can taste it and go, oh, that's nice, but I don't really care about it. But it's alcohol for me.
Well, this is the thing, myself and Amanda are both, we both carry some weight. And for us, it's when Benji's gone to bed and then you think, we can now relax. Some people, like yourself, may grab for the bottle of wine. We grab a bar of chocolate, like a big bar of chocolate.
My bottle of wine is well gone before the kids go to bed.
Well, yeah, Christ. But
chocolates and sweets.
Chocolates and sweets. But we go again. Is what I said to my Slimming World instructor. We'll try again. We'll keep going, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you're the best customer.
I think I am. Yeah.
Stu, we've got some comments in the comment section.
Yes, let's acknowledge the chat. Welcome, Lord Doolan. Yes, Lord. Is that insinuating Lord Doolan is partial to a glass of wine too?
If you look at the previous comments, you'll see.
Right. Okay. So, stop eating cake for 5 minutes, and then, you hurt the Lord's feelings for a moment. Well,
no, not me. It was the personal trainer that said to me and Lord Doolan. It wasn't that,
Neil J, welcome. Welcome, Neil. Lovely to have you with us. I saw Rock. Yeah, Rock was there. Rock's about.
Yeah.
Rock's lurking. Welcome, Rock. If you're still about. Right. Yeah, I'll just briefly go over Easter holidays. great fun. I've been off this week from work, so I've had Benj a couple of days. We saw the Mario movie, which I'll talk about later.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
I didn't mention, I don't think I mentioned, but my Quincy, do you remember my Quincy, the drained
Your
pustule?
abscess.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they said I was going to have a tonsillectomy. That's not happening anymore, so that's all good. That's a bit of good news.
Wow. What? How?
Well, I had to have a follow-up appointment after being like in A&E for a night. And they just, no, it's fine. We'll just wait. We'll just see if it happens again. If it does, then we'll get them out. Yeah. Which is a lovely place to be. Right, we've got to wait for something horrendous to happen before they fix it.
Yeah.
Which I guess is fair enough because the NHS is so stretched at the moment, isn't it? So,
was the Quincy on a tonsil?
It was no, but it goes to your tonsil first and then spreads. I think that's what happens. So the abscess itself wasn't on the tonsil; it was like to the left. No, yeah, to the left of it, looking towards my throat. So it's just to the side, but yeah, it's all
Quincy watch.
Yeah, here we go. Yes, I also just wanted to briefly say that we just go check out the YouTube channel. I was going to bring it up, but I won't bother because we are kind of just slightly refreshed the content. Everything's getting a nice new look and feel to it. So we've got our regular series. So Jimmy, you got your Rentrek, which is going gangbusters. Loving the Rentrek.
Yep.
Bricking it. I'm making a conscious effort to bring back the bricking it videos, the Lego builds and such. So that'll be on there. Go as a playlist for that. We've got our shorts, which are going well. What hell else we got? Obviously, we've got the classic, the flashback episodes.
Flashbacks, yeah.
Flashbacks are great fun putting them up and listening back to those. Relive the early history of the Renaissance men. This week's episode was quite good, quite funny in the sense that it was last week, because I'm releasing them weekly. DRB just made an off-the-cuff comment saying, "Oh, we are Renaissance men," and then me being me jumped in 2 feet and rebranded the whole show to become the Renaissance men the week after. So
it's the
this
week's story.
Yeah, this week's is the first Renaissance men podcast. Where it had been known as the Skinned Bear podcast. The origins of Skinned Bear being that someone once said I looked like a skinned bear.
I never knew it was Skinned Bear first. I prefer Skinned Bear, Stu. Let's go back.
Okay. Let's rebrand the rebrand. So yeah, that's great. That's a lovely walk down memory lane if you're interested in the early days of the Renaissance Men podcast.
I tell you what, Stu, one thing I'm loving about the Rentreks is I've made myself, I've requested to be part of different groups.
Yeah, okay.
Star Trek groups on Facebook. One of which is the Star Trek family. 10,000 members in the Star Trek family.
That sounds lovely, doesn't it? We're welcoming a safe space.
And do you know,
you nerds,
Stu, that's exactly what it is. I think that's the difference between Star Wars fans and Star Trek fans. Star Wars fans are like, yeah, Luke, Darth Vader.
Yeah, and mostly idiots, to be fair. I think most Star Wars
Star Trek fans are much more, I just want to stay in my room all day and watch Star Trek and chill. They're more introverted than Star Wars. And probably it was different back in the day, but Star Wars has become so, like everything with Marvel comics, Star Wars. It doesn't belong to the geeks anymore, does it? No. The jocks have taken it as well.
It's gone too mainstream, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were there first, damn it.
Yeah, but Star Trek has stayed. The jocks haven't come for that yet. We're keeping that. Yeah. And everyone's just super nice. And a brilliant thing about this group is people who have been in Star Trek or have worked on Star Trek keep joining the group.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So,
anyone famous like Shatner?
Not Shatner, but what's his name? Is it William Sadler?
The jocks. I know it's
the jocks.
It's talking like it's bloody Saved by the Bell.
The guy who plays Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yeah.
He was in Star Trek as
was he?
Deep Space Nine. He plays Agent Sloan in from Section 31. Yep. He joined, and just a couple of days ago, the guy who plays He's a Vulcan in Enterprise, and he's been in a few episodes,
Spock.
and he was in
Leonard Nimoy.
No, you won't know. You won't know
Okay.
You won't know him. You won't know him. But he's great. He's a brilliant actor, and it always comes up saying, this guy's joint. Say hello. Welcome in. And I put wow, unbelievable. You're a legend.
Are you being catfished?
Do you know what, Stu?
Cool.
He put a little red heart next to it.
You're being
the
catfished.
Actor.
Yeah,
No, it's him.
Catfish. Classic catfish tactics.
Stu.
Next, he'll be wanting your debit card details and inviting you out for dinner at Pizza Express.
Stu. It's real. They've got blue ticks. They're verified.
Okay, no, that's fine. I believe you. And that's nice, isn't it? It's nice.
Made my day, Stu. Made my absolute day.
My perception of Star Trek is, anyone involved in the acting side of it seems to be more proud of it than people who have been in Star Wars who usually want nothing more to do with it. Yeah. I'm thinking Liam Neeson and, of course, John Boyega, who want, nope, I'm out. So
Oscar Isaac as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's nice that they're proud of what they did and want to celebrate with the fans. Can you imagine John Boyega doing that? I couldn't.
No. Here's the thing. Star Trek saves lives. I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
No. Star Trek is one of those things where its community. It does have a lot of introverts. It has a lot of people with like people, autistic people, LGBTQ plus people. It's a real sort of
smorgasbord.
It's like an appreciation of the different. That's what Star Trek is. Whereas Star Wars is I love Star Wars, Christ's sake, but it's a fantasy romp. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas Star Trek is about humans being better and embracing that. You've only got to look at the original series with the bridge crew, Gene Roddenberry's idea of the future with the white captain,
multiracial, yes.
Man, first black female in Aurora, and you got Japanese, Russian, everything, Scotsman, lovely. So that's what Star Trek is, and I'm going to tell you that Vulcan's name before we move on, because here he is. Here he is.
I'm all ears.
His name is. He played Saval. Yeah, sorry, I missed it. Saval, Star Trek.
Yeah,
he played Saval. He was a Vulcan, and the actor's name is Gary Graham.
Graham.
No, you look up who Gary Graham is.
Gary Graham. Will I know who he is?
Yeah,
from
I hope so.
Superstar Gary Graham. Oh yeah, I kind of know who that is. It's one of those faces I recognise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff. Alien Nation. Do you remember the film Alien Nation?
Nope.
Yeah, that was a goodie.
Nope.
Anyway, he put a heart next to my comment. That was the highlight of my week. Oh, that was exhausting.
Wow. Okay. No, that's nice. That's lovely stuff. Right. Let's. If you enjoy the Renaissance Men content, then there's a variety of ways that you can come and support us. Let me just get up the overlay. So we have our kofi.com/renaissancecast. If you want to come over, if you want to buy us a coffee, you can do so for £3. Donate to the channel, and everything invested gets put back into the show some way. If you want to come and support us financially, then there's that. Of course, you can find us on the internet, because everyone's on the internet. You're currently watching us, hopefully, on YouTube or Twitch. We have channels over there at Renaissance Cast. And of course, you can join in the community conversation at twitter.com/Renaissance Cast. So there we go. Plenty of ways to support us. Plenty of ways. Before we move on, we just want to talk about next week's show, because it's going to be a bit of a doozy, super special guest type affair. Let's get up this overlay. I feel like I need to. I wish I had a drum roll. I don't have a drum. Do I have a drum roll? I don't have a drum roll.
No, you've got a badumch.
I've got an air horn. So fans of video games, we've got a special treat for you coming up next week. We have a super talented voice actor, Adam Howden. There we go. Let's react there with some.
You'll like that.
Wrong one, but let's give him. So Adam is, oh God, he's a voice actor sensation, as I put there. I don't think I'm overselling it too much. He's fresh off the latest Doctor Who radio play that's going to be set to come out for the BBC, and he's star of your biggest video game franchises. He's played roles in Dragon Age 2, all of the Xenoblade Chronicles, Super Smash Brothers, Ni no Kuni 2, Warhammer games, Lego Star Wars, lots of stuff. Friend of Jimmy's. So he's going to be coming on. And you'll just have some fun with him, I guess, and just shoot the breeze.
He was also the voice of Tintin in the game after the film came out. The Spielberg film. Jamie Bell wouldn't do the game, so Adam kindly stepped in.
Yep, good old Adam, saved the day. So that's next week. Guy. Yeah, we're going to have a fun time with Adam next week. We'll start pimping it out on the social media as the week goes on. Man, perhaps we'll ask for some audience, viewer questions, maybe.
Well, 100%. From anyone who likes video, anyone likes a video game, is in. Let's get some questions for him.
Yeah. Talking of questions, it's that time of the show where we get the viewers and listeners and the Renaissance family at large to ask us anything. Here we go. Ask us anything. That's the section of the show where the viewers come and chime in with questions for us, Jimmy, for us to answer live on the show. I put out, as usual, a tweet on Thursday evening to ask for questions from the audience. Rock stepped up and he asks the question. If dinosaurs hadn't been wiped out, do you think they would still be around? And if so, would they be even more advanced than us?
Cool.
I think they will still be around because, they would be the alpha predator, wouldn't they? At that point, would be struggling to survive.
So they haven't been wiped out. So we're taking, and the Ice Age was after the dinosaurs, wasn't it? Yeah. Have you not seen the films?
Oh, I have with Ray Romano.
Yeah. But so we're presuming they've survived all of the issues with climate change.
Yeah, exactly. They've just survived. I'm assuming also at that point then we haven't, I think. Surely they would have wiped us out, wouldn't they? If they survived, we probably would have come along as we did, or would we?
I mean, how long
we didn't exist?
They don't know how long we've been around for, do they?
Assuming we're coexisting, I don't know. I don't know how we could. If when they went, I mean, we didn't ever coexist, did we?
They will have evolved. No, of course we didn't. They will have evolved because it was 65 million years ago now. It's been a million years since Jurassic Park came out. They will have evolved, of course, because we evolved over the space of a couple of million years or something, or a million years, or
hairless chimps.
So they would have had to have evolved.
I'd like to imagine what they evolved into. Like, what would they, like, gentlemen dinosaurs, top hats, and just able to speak? And perhaps we are. Perhaps they weren't. Perhaps they weren't never extinct. We are evolved dinosaurs.
No, we're monkeys. We're chimps, aren't we?
Okay.
We're evolved from chimps. Well, I think you're right, Stu. I don't think we would be around. I think that they would have.
Safe assumption, Jimmy.
They would have chomped us all up as soon as the first crawled out of the sea. Yeah, some dinosaur would have yummed that up. There's a wonderful episode of Star Trek Voyager where Chakotay finds this, comes across this ship with like these lizard people, and they find out that they're descendants of dinosaurs. They've got the same DNA as us, and the religious dinosaur people are disputing this evolution of dinosaurs to what they are. Yeah.
Wow.
But that's what happened to dinosaurs in the Star Trek universe. They I think they probably try and choose to forget about that. But yeah. So I reckon they would have. And they'd probably be smaller because you don't adapt to get bigger, do you? Like we've got a couple of inches.
Do you think they would have made the same technological advances that we did?
I can see a T-Rex.
Using an iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving a car.
It would be interesting. You'd actually think that they'd be much further along than us because they would have been around for millions of years further than us.
Yeah.
So probably would have left this planet, invented warp drive, and gone off.
Maybe in some multiverse somewhere, there's some dinos doing a Renaissance dino podcast.
Yep.
Just dinosaur versions of us. Just kind of talking bollocks on a Dino Friday night.
Laws of like multi-parallel universes say that's true, Stu.
Yep. Neil J asks on the fly, simple question: how tall are you both? 6'1" for me.
6'2" for
with your heels.
I'm I'm 5'9", 5'11" on my CV.
I was surprised at how short you were. I don't remember you ever being that short when we
met.
When the two families joined. Great families.
I was surprised at how short. You know how tall I am. I haven't.
No, I know, but you I haven't seen you for a while, so you kind of forget your perception of somebody.
Admittedly, you were bigger than I thought you'd be. You're taller. Which makes sense. Yeah, I'm the average height. The average height.
Yeah. I just assume you wore massive heels all the way through school, which I could see you doing that.
No, at school I was
Cuban heels.
I wore heels when I was at university.
Okay.
I've told you that before, didn't I? When I first went to university, I had moon boots, buffalo boots. You know, like what the Spice Girls used to wear.
Yep.
And you wear them with flares. No one can tell in a club. And then whilst I was there, I think I got them from a shop called Blue Rinse in Leeds, which was a vintage shop. I bought cowboy boots, which had a proper like that heel on them. I wore them for years. And you just wear them with jeans. You wear your jeans on top, and then you got your cowboy boots on. And then you get back to some lady's house, and you're having a bit of a smooch, and then you take them off. So are we going to bed or what?
Yeah. Neil, I throw it back to you. How tall are you, Neil? Neil J in the chat. Neil, I reckon you're a strapping 6-footer. Speaking of strapping 6-footers, Rock, I thought he was already there, although you were there at the beginning, weren't you? So you clearly returned. Welcome, Rock.
Have you heard, Stu? That is what women want these days. They want
short
666. You heard about this? You know about this? You heard about this?
No.
666. 666. This is what women want.
Go on.
6 foot, over 6 foot.
Yep.
Earning over 6 figures.
Right.
And 6 inches.
Yeah.
Over 6 inches plus.
Is it? Oh.
1 out of 3 ain't bad.
I won't ask which one. Well, we know. We've eliminated one of them. Yeah. I've got a pretty good idea. Neil was 5'8". 5'8".
Yeah, average height.
Yeah.
The best actors are around 5'8", 5'9".
Really?
Yeah, because you want to be short with a big head. That's
what?
Short with a big
top
head.
Heavy.
Yeah. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Tom Cruise, Joe Pesci. Short with a big head. That's the ultimate thing.
That's the
Chris
thing.
Hemsworth,
interestingly
enough, I think he's like 6'4" or 6'5" or something.
Really small head.
He used to lie on. He was shorter on his CV. He'd say he was shorter because if you're going, you're going to be starring in a film with Natalie Portman and she's blooming 5'2" or whatever, you're going to look ridiculous. So you got to think about your leading ladies as well.
Wow.
You don't want too tall.
So how did they get round? Because I imagine she's tiny.
She borrowed my buffalo boots from university.
Yeah, makes sense. Neil asks, a more practical question. How do you open a toilet door whose handle is not turning? I'm having this issue now. I seem to remember you have experience.
Yeah, go back and watch the video of me rescuing John Simmons' scale modeler.
Yeah.
Boot it.
Well, or turn the handle. Try the handle first, which is what Jimmy didn't do.
He said the handle was not turning.
Right. No, you didn't, did you? I'm just saying. You were idiotic. Neil has done what should have happened.
He's trying a library card, apparently.
Okay, he's cutting Jimmy open.
Yeah.
Huh. Rock says, short with a big head. So that wasn't the 6 we thought then, Jim.
No.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to say which one it is, or if it's any of them, to be honest.
Right. Let's crack on with this week's hot potato, which we've got a strange one this week.
I know. You seem to avoid it when I suggested it, and then in the notes I put it in, Stu, because it's important.
It is. Let's discuss the hot topic of conversation around the nation this week in hot potato. This was a strange story that cropped up in the social media and the news feeds, and it went viral, didn't it?
Yeah.
I saw some interesting memes. I call them the memes because that's what Amanda calls them. Memes. We've discussed this before in the past. Interesting memes that came from this story. The story being, what's Jimmy?
Oh, well, the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, one of the most innocent, purest people on earth, closest to God.
Open the link. Sorry.
That's all right. Closest to God. Yeah, I gave you a video.
Good boy.
Recently met a young man, a boy, if you will. I mean, he is a boy. I think he's about 8 or something. and he was cuddling him and saying, "Hello, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And then he asked for a kiss.
Yeah.
And they kissed, and you're sort of like, "Oh, maybe that's a thing." In Tibet. He's Tibet, isn't it? Dalai Lama. But then the Dalai Lama went, "Suck my tongue." And people were a little bit taken back by this.
Yeah. Strange behavior. But is this just a cultural misunderstanding?
Well, they're claiming
Surely.
His apology. Are you going to play the vid?
I don't know if I should.
Yeah, play it. He's blurred.
Okay.
He's blurred. Here he goes. He's like, "Come here, you. Come here. Come here." I
I
imagine he speaks like Frank Butcher, Mike Reed. "You pilchard, come here. Come here, right? Give me that hand. Shake, shake, shake. Little touch to the head. Lovely. Wait, come back. Oh, where's the kiss?
Good. Okay, no, that's good. That's good.
Where's the French kissing?
Inappropriate.
Oh, well.
Oh no, here we go. Here's a quote. Who's this from?
God.
His Holiness wishes to apologise to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent, playful way, even in public and before cameras. He regrets the incident.
Yeah. So you see him sort of do that, and he's sort of laughing, and there's cameras and there's people around, and the boy sort of goes forward. The boy's face is always blurred, and I think he sort of moves away. Who knows?
Where did this happen, by the way?
Where?
Yeah.
TGI Fridays, just off the A12.
What's going on there?
I don't know, rubbing heads. I don't know. Who knows? He's an old man. And it sort of reminded me of like old granddads with their nieces. "Give me a kiss. nieces, grandchildren, sorry, to girls rather than boys.
Yeah.
It was all a little bit weird. And they're saying like he was just mucking around with him. He's not actually meaning suck his tongue. But that's a weird. It's a weird muck around, isn't it? It's a weird muck around.
It is. It's inappropriate, isn't it? And you've got to be more careful in this day and age. Just cover your tracks is all I'm saying to the Dalai Lama. Just be a bit more careful.
Yeah, not in front of the nation.
No, exactly. I don't know. He's of an age, isn't he? So I guess maybe you could appropriate. I don't know. They didn't even do that in the old days, did they? Come here, come and suck my tongue.
Yes, this is it, Stu. You're trying to go, okay. You're trying to justify it in your head just because he's the Dalai Lama. So you go, well, there must be something. Even though rationally there's nothing. But you go, there must be something. And you go, in what circumstance would I ask I say to an 8-year-old boy, suck my tongue? I'm like, there's none. There's none.
On my finger, maybe.
It's even
honk my nose.
For me, even a little bit uncomfortable when one of my kids goes on your lips. I'm a bit more of a head or a cheek kisser or something. And you should be able to give your kids a little kiss on the lips. Of course, you should be able to. But
it gets you thinking, that, doesn't it? It gets you thinking whether that. Is that appropriate? Well, would someone see me and think wrong of me? I get what you're saying.
I think it's fine when they're your kids and you go, it's that sort of thing. It's love, a love thing. And you could look at that Dalai Lama thing as if he is what he's meant to be, whatever the fuck he's supposed to be, on the lips, being a completely innocent thing, like he's the father of all of these. Perhaps, I don't know.
No, that's a stretch.
But
that's a stretch. Yeah. What was he thinking? Well, apparently it was just in jest. So that's what he was thinking. He was just having a bit of a play, pardon the expression, with this 8-year-old boy.
I think we're going to have to cancel him, Stu. So we've lost the Catholic Church because of they love a bit of it, don't they? You know what? They know what they love.
I know what you're saying.
You know what they love, and they know.
I know what you're saying.
The Dalai Lama, he's gone now. He's done it now.
So is he what, Buddhism?
Yep. Probably. So
what we got left?
We've got Islam and Judaism as the biggies.
Right.
Where we going? So far, they're doing all right. There was a brilliant thing during COVID where one of the high sort of Muslim priests said something like, "Don't worry about it. It's only gays that are dying of COVID."
Oh God!
And then a month later, he died of COVID. So you got to take what they say now with a pinch of salt. So I think I'll go Jew, Shu. I'll go Jew.
For what? Sorry, you've lost me. What? They're the next on the list.
The only good one. No, the only good one.
Oh, the only good one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Blimey. Okay. Yeah.
And if they fall, I'm going with Tom Cruise on the Scientology gravy train.
David Icke for me. I think I'm with him on you've convinced me on the lizard people aspects of dinosaurs to lizards to David Icke is our true leader.
Well, there you go. That's the hot topic. Pull my finger. Yeah, that's how you play around with a kid, isn't it? You say, "Pull my finger," not "suck my tongue."
Yeah.
There you go. That's the hot potato. Stu, final thoughts on the Dalai Lama
thoughts on
sexually assaulting a young boy?
No, not really. I just say, is it really a surprise? Let's be honest. Are we surprised by that revelation? I'm not really. Religion seems to do funny things with people, doesn't it? Funny things.
Yeah.
Atheism is the way forward.
Yeah, I hate it because my wife's, massively against, all of these religion. And anytime I try and defend them, they go and do something like this.
Yeah. There we go. Dalai Lama must do better.
See me.
Yeah. Right, there we go. That was Hot Potato. I think we've done it justice. I think we've put our spin on the week's hot potato, hot pot, Ato. Right, it's time for the Week in Geek. I don't know why I paused there, but yeah, it's time for the Week in Geek where we discuss what we've been up to, and it's a packed one, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So let's crack on with the Week in Geek. Right, crack your fingers. I'm ready to go. I've had a great week, absolutely great week.
Have you?
A couple of weeks really, because we hadn't spoken and kind of, we chat here and there, and we get a sense of what we're up to and that. But I like just spewing it all out to you and the nation on a Friday night.
Tell us, Stu. What
I want to talk about? I think the hot potato, the cinematic hot potato at the moment, is the release of the Super Mario Bros. Film.
Yes.
We reacted to some trailers in the past. I think we got a sense that I was quite looking forward to that film.
Oh, yes. Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black, Michael... I can never remember his name.
Barrymore.
No, who plays Toad? Michael Keegan? It's not.
Oh, I don't know. I know...
He's from Keenan and Peele. Not Keenan Peele.
Keenan Kel.
Got to find out his name, Stu, because every time I forget.
The IMDb page. I'm so sorry, Jimmy.
No,
like that.
No, I forget. His name is Keenan.
I'm looking. I haven't just frozen. I am looking. Toad General, no.
Keegan Michael Key. That's why I always forget his flipping name. Keegan Michael Key, who plays Toad.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
And who plays Princess Daisy?
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Lovely. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Mario. Is it her?
Miranda is Princess Peach.
Mario.
What did you call her? Princess Toadstool. Okay.
Princess Daisy.
Peach. No, Daisy's someone else. Peach is what you want talking about. Peach.
Yes, but I think Daisy's in Mario 2.
Yes. Yeah, but that's a different princess.
Mario.
That could be set for Miranda, which is let's cast it now.
Look at the size of your toadstool.
Your button mushroom. Right, let's get all this silliness out of the way because Super Mario Brothers is bloody amazing. I went with Benjamin on Tuesday.
That's it.
Interestingly, critically, I would say questioned. I wouldn't say panned because there's been some good reviews, but I think on Metacritic it was hovering about like the high 40s, 50% mark. So it's technically classed as rotten. So that worried me to some degree. But a lot of the I read some funny reviews. The Empire review was criticizing the film for having too many instances of the term "Mamma Mia."
I've heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
It's Mario. That's like saying Bruce Forsyth says too many "nice to see you nices." That's his catchphrase.
Mamma Mia. Does he say that?
Mario. Yeah, all the time.
I thought it
Mamma
was
Mia.
I thought he said "let's go" too much.
He says "let's go," Mamma Mia. He goes woohoo. All that.
I don't think I've ever heard Mario say "Mamma Mia."
Well, he does, right?
I think no, you've made that up, Stu. Have you got that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He says "Mamma Mia," "let's go." What a mistake to make her, and shut up in your face. Okay, let's just clarify. I think he does in my version of Mario, in my headcanon.
God,
no, this is such a joyful film. It's a lot of the criticism has been, plot wise, it's very simplistic, and I agree, it is.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, it's a lazy.
Yeah,
story.
But it tells it's telling the story, whether you like it or not, of the first Super Mario. If you read that, like the instruction manual for Super Mario Brothers in the late 80s or mid 80s, whenever it was, that's the story. He gets sucked into a into a pipe in Brooklyn, pops out in the Mushroom Kingdom, and Bowser's there, and Bowser wants to kidnap Peach, and he saves Peach and saves the day. That's what happens.
Spoilers.
Well, yeah, actually, good point. But it's the journey, and it's the celebration of all things Mario that I loved. Benj loved it. On the surface, it's a very colourful, very very funny. It's just a solid kind of animated film. It's produced by both Nintendo and Illumination, who do the Minions and the Despicable Me's and Story of Pets. I think they do as well. So yeah, I think they've got some relevance, I guess is the word. They've got a good reputation for doing some interesting, good animated work. So coupled together with the reverence that having Nintendo on board gives you, and gives you access to lots of references, and they really pour the love for Nintendo into the film. There's lots of little Easter eggs that you can enjoy as a mid-20s Nintendo fan, as I am. People of a certain age will appreciate a lot more, I think. So it's got that whole Pixar. I felt it had that Pixar element of lots of stuff for the adults and the nerds who enjoy this, the property that's based on, and the kids can laugh at Bowser playing a piano and singing about peaches.
Did you cry?
Didn't cry, no.
Was it emotional? Because I found that with a lot of the animated movies that the Pixar ones, not really the Disney, even though Disney owned Pixar, but there's points when they really tug at your heartstrings, and especially me, a man in my 20s with a lot of kids, I can cry quite easily these days. And those films, a lot of the good animated films, do get me. And if the Mario, do you know what I mean? So I want them to get me.
Do you know what? It wasn't anything with the narrative or the story that got me, and I did get a little bit emotional. It was more just a warmth and a warm fuzziness, just because you're experiencing this product that you've loved growing up, playing all the video games and just experiencing Mario and having that in your life for so long, and then just seeing it on the big screen. There was something quite quite warming and quite emotional about that aspect. But no, there was nothing within the story, like a particular story element that got me. There was no tearjerks or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate a lot of the criticism around the story and how simplistic it is, but I think it's more than that. I think you've got to look a bit deeper and look at it as what it's representing and what it could potentially start. I would love to see more Nintendo. I want an NCU. Give me more Nintendo's. I want a Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Give me it all. I want it all. Highlights for me. I thought they did a great bit with Chris Pratt at the very, very start of the film. They show. Have you seen the trailer with like the mock Super Mario Brothers advert?
No.
They do. It's like an advert selling their plumbing company. And in the advert, he's putting on a really hard Italian accent.
Okay.
And then they kind of cut away from that. And in Mario as he is in the film, obviously is Chris Pratt doing a slight Italian accent. It's not like heavy. I thought that was quite a nice moment because they're kind of self-referencing a lot of the criticism that he got from being chosen as being the voice actor for that. So these are my questions.
Do you reckon they put that in afterwards?
Possibly.
After
it's something they could have done in like post after it'd been like further down the line of production. But yeah, I'd quite like to. We should talk about this with Adam next week. Really, how you want to try and capture. If he has ever had experience capturing like a particular nationality or something, or like how difficult does he find it? Like, I guess appreciate it's probably a very fine line for being slightly racist and trying to. I think you've got to convey an accent, haven't you? If you're doing an Italian, but you don't want to go too far in case you turn into hello style. What a mistake of the maker, unless that's what you're going for. I'd quite like to know about the intricacies of putting on an accent and performing as a nationality that's not native to you.
Well, we'll try it one show. We'll try it.
Yeah. So, Adam.
So I'm quite keen to take one of my sons to see this at the cinema. We haven't been to the cinema for a long, long time together.
Okay.
What would you give it out of 5?
4.
Wow.
A solid, for me, solid 4. It was just an absolutely pleasurable experience. I was grinning for 80 to 90 minutes, whatever it was on. But I think you get more out of it. However much, if you've got more love for Nintendo, and like the history of video games and all that, I think if you've got a lot of love for that side of things, then you'll get more out of it. But
there's interesting comments in the comment section from Lord Doolan. 2 comments.
Lord Doolan, yes, he's Super Mario smashed game-related box office records. Yes, I think it's earned 500 million already in like the first week, which is crazy. It's the highest grossing video game adaptation ever.
Really?
I'm not sure what the second highest was, but I guess Sonic maybe might have been up there.
Yeah, probably. Pokemon Detective. But that's cartoon to card game to cartoon to video game to film.
Spans everything. It's a multimedia conglomerate, isn't it, Jimmy?
Oh, Lord Doolan. Agree. 4 out of 5. Have you seen it as well? Have you?
Solid 4 out of 5. Hope you enjoyed it, Lord.
Did you take the boy?
Me or Lord?
Lord. I know you took the boy.
Yeah. He's right. Lord Doolan's right here. Perfect release date, right on East holiday with the kids. Yeah, it's kind of right place, right time, and I think it's doing. I don't think it's actually released in Japan yet.
Really? It's going to go big in Japan.
Go big in Japan, as the song goes. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. I hope it feels like it's snowballing a bit now, like Frozen did. It's almost become a little bit viral, isn't it? I think the Mario film. So yeah, I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly.
Brilliant.
Do you want to give my voice a rest and talk about something, Jimmy? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I'll talk about something. Stu, you quite often, I watch some weeks I watch nothing but Star Trek and just YouTube stuff. But this week I went a bit mad and I watched loads of things.
Oh wow!
Last Sunday, for example, everyone is quite happy at my house when they're just doing their own thing. Some families that force you have to all do something together, and most of you don't even want to do it.
Yeah,
we just happily do our own things. And I sat in the kitchen all day and drank wine and watched about 3 films back to back. I watched Die Hard, which is the new Kevin Hart Netflix.
Okay,
film.
I've seen this advertised. Yep.
Die Hard, where Kevin Smith played not Kevin Smith. Kevin Hart. It's called Die Hard, for Christ's sake. Kevin Hart plays himself. It's because I'm going to talk about something else with Kevin Smith. Kevin Hart plays himself, and he wants to become an action hero. And he goes to an action hero training school run by John Travolta's character. And it's along with these films where they're doing the one with Nick Cage, and they did the thing with Jean-Claude Van Damme a while ago where they're playing a version of themselves.
Oh yeah, JVD wasn't it called or something?
Yeah, it was pretty crap. I also watched a film called Idiocracy, which is you seen that?
I haven't, no, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah, it's worth watching. It's worth watching. So it's an older film, 90s, I think. Mike Judge of Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill fame.
Isn't it one of the Owen? One of the Wilsons, isn't that?
Yeah, Luke Wilson plays a soldier. He's the most average soldier there is. Average at everything, just average. And they put him into a experiment where he's going to be in there for a year to see if it works. It's just going to be in stasis, basically, for a year. Him, and they also have to get a woman, and they get the actress is called, I think her name is Maya Rudolph. She's in like loads of sitcoms and stuff at the moment. Brilliant actress. Very attractive. Maya Rudolph.
Idiocracy, it's called, yeah?
Yeah, Maya Rudolph, yeah.
Yes, Maya Rudolph, you're correct.
But unfortunately, the doctor who's in charge of this military experiment gets arrested for starting a prostitute ring. And then there's just issues, and the experiment gets buried, and they're in the ground for something like 500 years. It's 500 years. And when they come out, the world has gone to absolute shit because everyone's a fucking idiot. Everyone's a moron. They've just been overtaken by TV. The most popular TV show is called it's something like Ow My Nuts, where it's just a bloke getting kicked and hitting the balls by various things. The president is Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, yep. President Camacho. And
the crops are all failing and everything's gone to shit. And it turns out Luke Wilson is the smartest man alive now. So that's how it goes. It's not brilliant, but actually it's probably funnier now in the world that we live in now.
God, yeah. I was going to say it sounds like
than back then. Yeah. So I watched that. I just went crazy. But the film I wanted to talk about, sorry, I've waffled on. The film I wanted to talk about was Clerks 3. I finally got round to watching Clerks 3.
Okay.
Now, you may remember a while back, Stu, on the show, probably 6 months, it was a while back. Seddon was here, Lacey was here, and we had the question about, is Kevin Smith a genius or a hack? I think that was the question. And I was pretty much fully against Kevin Smith at that point. I was like, he's a hack. It's crap. So I watched Clerks. I saw the film Clerks 1 when I worked in the video shop, when I worked in Movie Madness.
Yeah.
Black and white, really interesting take on an everyday thing in a convenience store. And actually, I'll go on to what Clerks 1 did. And then they did Clerks 2 a while back, which I thought was funny-ish. And then I watched Clerks 3. And I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. I don't want to give away any spoilers. But I was in tears watching this film. I was bawling my eyes out watching this film. It's not that funny. It's more of a flipping drama than the other films. But it took me back to the 90s, the music and the nostalgia, and me and my friends, John Simmons, Alex Roth, when we were kids, and stuff happens in this film. And I just got so emotional and I was bawling my eyes out watching it. And I thought it was brilliant. I thought I really enjoyed that. Why did I enjoy that? Because I hate Kevin Smith now. I hate him now.
Do you think it's like you empathize with the characters and the situation?
Yeah, I did massively. And afterwards, I watched a documentary on YouTube about Clerks 1, Clerks 2, and Clerks 3.
Okay.
About an hour and 40 minutes long. Everyone's being interviewed. Kevin Smith, everyone who's in it. And they're talking about Clerks 1 and how they made it for 27 grand. They showed it in a theatre, and the only people that turned up were the cast and crew. The crew being about 5 people, the cast being about 8. And one bloke, I can't remember his name, but this bloke was involved in Sundance. And he started telling the people at Sundance about this film. And suddenly it was at Sundance. And then after Sundance, it was bought
Robert Redford.
No, it wasn't. It was a bald chap. But after Sundance, it was bought by Miramax, I think it was.
Yeah.
And like Kevin Smith was still working in the Quick Stop. That's what it's, the Clerks 1 is based on Kevin Smith's life, and like the people got in touch with him and was like, oh, can we do, the Times, whatever newspaper wants to come and do, the New Yorker or whatever it was, wants to come and do an interview with you about your film. And he's like, when? They're like, tomorrow. He's like, well, I'm working. They're like, oh, what are you working on? He's like, well, I'm in the Quick Stop. I'm working the Quick Stop. No, oh, well, can we come and do it there? And he got into, and just watching this documentary really started to make me appreciate what they did with that film, which is now, that film is now in, I can't remember what it's called, but you know, they put like 10 films a year into the Congressional Film, whatever, museum vault.
Like Smithsonian or whatever it is.
Yes, basically. It's in there. Like this 27 grand movie is in there. And you sort of see the significance. And I was watching a documentary thinking, yeah, it did sort of make me want to film things, and you sort of could realize that you can just film anything. You don't have to have these big budgets or whatever. You can film anything and make a film. So I carried on watching this documentary, and Kevin Smith starts going, I know that I'm not Scorsese or whatever. I know I'm not the next whoever, Tarantino. So I was just like, well, I'll just do what I want to do. And when I watched it, I realized that even though some people go, yeah, Kevin Smith, genius, you know, he's not a fucking genius in the slightest. But he doesn't think he's a genius. He's just making films that he thinks are fun, and he makes them with his friends, and he tries to make this universe that he thinks is fun, and they come back to stuff, and it's for his fans or you know, the people that like his stuff. And it made me appreciate him in a hell of a lot more way that I think people had turned me off him. Yeah. You know, everyone going, it's Dogma's genius. Yeah, no, it's not. It's all right. It's good fun, you know.
That's an interesting point. You know, I think I do think a lot of my reticence with Clerks and that whole film series and a lot of Kevin Smith stuff is because people they're not forcing it on you. That's the wrong turn of phrase, but. You know, there is this. Oh, you must see this. This is a good film. You should consider this a good film. He is a genius. It's a lot of the times when that happens and people are telling that to me, I stand off it and I avoid it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. Perhaps I'm just a bit stubborn. I don't know. But yeah, the more people praise it, the less inclined I am to go out and watch it. No, I don't know why that is, and that's what I feel with. I've always had that with Clerks. I have tried to watch it, and sorry, it's not about the shoes. No. Oh, I'm mistaken. I'll go watch it.
No, sure, you're right.
That's my history with Clerks.
Clerks. It feels like when you know about it and just maybe you and your friends like it and that sort of thing, it belongs to you. And then when all these people that you don't know or people that you don't necessarily respect their opinion on stuff start to talk about how good something is, you go, is it good? If they like it. And it's there is that sort of snobbiness, but also it's not always snobbiness, because you got to respect yourself as someone who knows what good is. You know, you know what works. If you've watched enough films and understand how films work and you know what's good. Clerks is not genius. It's just it's something that I think spurred a lot of people on to make a lot of films. Yeah, and it was in the middle of that sort of garage band, indie sort of, let's just do it. We don't need, you know, let's start a band, let's make a film, that sort of thing. And the underdogs, and you could get behind it. And it's a funny script. You know, the acting's dodgy as shit in Clerks.
Clerks.
But it's good fun. And watching this Clerks 3 emotionally moved me massively, and watching this documentary of Kevin Smith and talking about his heart attack and that sort of thing, which spurred on Clerks 3, really made me appreciate it more for just him enjoying life rather than thinking he's something he's not. And it made me appreciate it more. And it starts with such an amazing song, Clerks 3. It's by My Chemical Romance. Can't remember what the song's called. The Black Parade, I think it's called. My wife loves it. My wife loves My Chemical Romance. and they play the entire song, and it puts you in the mood for the film. And look, a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people thought it was a load of shit, and I could see why. But for me, for me, who sort of lived there and loved it.
I wonder if it's from the trailer. I got the sense that it was quite quite a meta film. In that, are they making a film themselves, or
yeah? So I didn't even talk about the film, is it? So Randall, one of the main characters from Clerks and Clerks 2, has a heart attack. His Dante, the other chap, says they're talking. He said his life flashed before his eyes, and it was shit. And he's like, I spent my whole life just watching movies. And then Dante says, I think you could have made a good movie. And he decides to make a movie. Right. Okay. And ultimately what they make is Clerks. Yeah. So they're filming scenes that you've seen in, when they were 20, now they're 50, but it's black and white, how Clerks was shot. And you're seeing the same sort of scenes done.
That's quite interesting. And I do wonder if that is maybe that added to your appreciation of the film is, you're when you're viewing it, you're kind of taking into account the history of the production and Kevin Smith and, where he's been to get where he is, and then feeding in aspects from your own life. And then, kind of obviously being the age we are, we can't live the lie any longer. Yeah. We're in our 40s. Shock horror, I know. But, kind of all those factors surrounding the film, making you connect with it a bit more, and I think that's fair, and that's what good films do. That's why I love cinema a lot of the time, is when a film connects with you and speaks to you on more of a just this is a great story kind of level. It's talking to you and reminding you about your life or experiences in your life, or inspiring you or whatever. That's when a film is top notch.
That's 100% what it was, and Kevin Smith is always someone who, is very meta with his things, isn't he? He's always crossing over characters from his other films, and there's lots of in jokes for people, and they're the things I don't necessarily like. Where like, I've seen his other films, so I get that. Yeah, you don't get that, and I find that very tiresome. I'm like, it's not clever; it's just referencing another film. Yeah.
It's a very fine line. It can go into self-indulgence, and
I find loads
can
of
be
stuff.
Accused of that. Sometimes.
Yeah, massively. And this, you'd go, Christ. They're making Clerks 1. How self-indulgent is that? How referencing is that? Yeah. But for me, it just it grabbed onto a lot of emotions and heartstrings, and it didn't feel like there's one scene where it's wanky because they're auditioning for the film, and auditioning is Ben Affleck, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., Fred Armisen, or whatever his name is, all these his celebrity mates, and it's like just scale back. That's what was so good about Clerks. It was scaled back to nothing. So there's certain people will like this film. So loads of people will hate it and think that's not even a comedy. But some people I think will really like it if you can connect with it.
That's great stuff. That's that's a lovely little review. I think that's it's from the heart, and it's lovely when you connect to a film in that way.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah.
What else have you been up to, Stu?
I've been playing Resident Evil 4. The remake of said game. Do you recall I was talking about the demo that released several weeks back?
Yes, you were very excited about it. So this is the same game. This is Resident Evil 4 that came out on the PlayStation
5.
No, but originally
the original came out on GameCube, and then it went on to PlayStation 2. And then and then PC, and then Wii, and it's been everywhere at this point.
So now they've remade it. It's the same game, but just updated graphics, sound.
Correct. Yeah. Completely redone. They've even restructured the game. Completely rewritten. It's lots are similar, but there's lots of changes as well in there, and that's what I'm really enjoying. I'm just gonna forgive me whilst I just get up some B-roll footage of it, so I could just, as we're talking, we can have this up. But yeah, I'm absolutely. I mean, I'm back to 2004 again when it came out on GameCube, and I played it originally. It's a fantastic game. Always was a brilliant game, but it had its moments. You know, it had certain aspects to it that weren't great back in 2004, and if you were playing it today, we wouldn't make it even worse. So yeah, it's sorry, I'm waffling whilst I do this. There we go.
No, that's okay.
Okay,
I never played. So this is it.
Yeah, we're just playing one of the official trailers on screen for you right now. So they've completely done redone the graphics. I mean, it looks amazing, as you can see.
God.
It's using the latest next gen graphical technology. It's on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and I think PC. Came out a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, just thoroughly enjoying the experience. I mean, what I'm loving about it most, as I alluded to, I hope, is the fact that there's lots of aspects that are the same, and it just feels so wholesome. And you know, what do you call them? Remember berries. Remember berries. Member berries.
Yeah,
I love that term.
It's the new one. It's like Easter eggs and
yeah.
I think it's the same thing. Member berries, but just that's the new terminology.
Well, I love it, and this does that exactly. You know, it's got those moments that, as it would, because it's a remake of a certain property, but it's going to have the same similar moments to the original property. But what I love about it is they kind of subvert your expectations at times as well. You're expecting a moment to play out a certain way because you've played it before many times over in some circumstances. If you were like me and replayed this game to death. So you're going in expecting a certain thing to happen, but they do the opposite, or they throw a new enemy in, or they cut out a whole section of a level and replace it with a section that you thought was later on in the game. So they're keeping it fresh, but it's got those member berries at the same time. And I think they've done it. This could have been a very mundane, run-of-the-mill port, remake. They could have just played it very safe, but I think they've done enough to it to really re-warrant firstly a £70 purchase, or however much you're paying for this these days. Considering even if you've played the first game, so there's that. But it's also keeping me entertained. It's such a good. It was a fantastic game anyway. A fantastic story, very much an action. Resident Evil, before Resident Evil 4 came out originally, Resident Evil was very much survival horror. It stuck you in this situation with zombies where you had to manage your ammo carefully.
I hated that.
Yeah, they heightened up the tension and the horror stakes. If
you were out of ammo, and you had saved, you were done. That was it.
Yeah.
You were done.
Yeah, and I think what changed with Resident Evil 4 originally was the fact that it shifted more towards an action game. There was a lot of like quick time events, like hammering down the A button to run away from something, and just the switch in focus, the camera to behind the shoulder. It became more of a shooter. They gave you more ammo. It was a bit more lenient with your save points and stuff. So it was very much they made it more accessible, I think, as a game.
It looked epic, that trailer there.
Yeah, and it's got epic moments. Like I say, it looks amazing. If you're a fan of the original, then you're going to love it. For me, Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game of all time. So I'm probably always going to love this. But it really isn't a safe reimagining of the game. They've done some interesting stuff, and they've improved it a great deal as well. Like, they've made some good quality of life improvements, such as just the way you can use your knife, and you don't have to press like multiple buttons just to slash your knife. Reloading, and just the way Leon moves. He's not moving around like a tank as he did in the original game. It's like very much free flowing combat, and it plays better for all that. It's a better game for all of the enhancements they've made. So if you do get a chance to play it, I would thoroughly recommend it. Nice. It's absolutely brilliant. I haven't completed it, but I think about halfway through. I'm at the castle, if that means anything to anyone, which is the second of like 3 main areas in the game. So, yeah, I love it so much. It's so good. It's one of those games where I'm thinking about it when I'm not playing it. I mean, for me, that's always the sign of a good game. You know, you're thinking, oh, I want to go and play that when you're not playing it. So,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, very good game. Thoroughly enjoyable, Jimmy.
Got some comments in the comment section, Stu. From
Rock is I'm going to rent it soon. Do it, Rock. It's fantastic. Fantastic. I know you've been enjoying the Resident Evil 3 remake on your channel. Playing it through Amazon Luna, their cloud service. Yeah, I think you'll love this. You know, if I know you like I know you, you will love Resident Evil 4. It's fantastic. Rock also says, excited to see the Last Kingdom movie has finally come to Netflix. Love the series. This is the final outing. The Last Kingdom.
Yeah, isn't that one of the Viking ones? That's one of the people with long hair, isn't it?
I don't know.
One of the shows where people have fighting and stuff, isn't it? Long hair fighters.
The last... the long hair...
Like Outlander and stuff.
Okay, so this is interesting. This was a History Channel production.
Ooh.
So, okay. No, I don't know much about this. Rock, forgive me. But it's 5 series in? Yeah, no, more than that. God. Anyway, yeah, well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yes, do let us know what it's like. Is it very... Oh, here we go. He answers. Yes, Viking Anglo-Saxons loosely based on real characters. Okay, so being a History Channel production, is it more based in real life historical events? I guess with some poetic license involved. Yeah, that's kind of slipped to me by. I have to say that, and the Vikings. There's one called Vikings, isn't there? I'm sure there's one called Vikings.
There's Vikings. There's Outlander. I don't know. I thought there was that similar. Outlander is one I do want to watch because good friend Tim Downey is in Outlander.
Oh, hello, Tim.
Who will be on the show at some point. So I do want to watch that because I try and watch most of his stuff. Good stuff. Well, shoot, Resident Evil 4. That sounds exciting. Would you like to know what else I've been watching?
Yes, please do. If it's what I think you're going to talk about, I've watched it too.
Wonderful, Stu. Wonderful. But before I say that, before we talk about that, I'm going to tell you why I watched it.
Okay.
So 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, you recommended a show called Outlast.
Ah, yes.
Survivalists on an island they're not in an island, they're in Alaska in the States. And their teams, and they have to survive with next to nothing. And I watched it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Bloody good, wasn't it?
I've been recommending it to loads of people. Outlast on Netflix. You see the real scourge of people coming out, don't you? It's you wanna kill some people on the show. It's wonderful, and because of that, I was recommended. Bear Grylls The Island. So I went on to watch a series of Bear Grylls The Island, where there was $100,000 on the island, and you could collect the money and survive, and thoroughly enjoyed that. So I'm suddenly getting into this. That's on Netflix as well. There's 2 seasons.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
So I'm suddenly getting into these sort of survival shows, and most nights with my wife, I put the kids to bed, and I'm like, I come down. She's usually playing video games, and then I sit there like that. And eventually she gets to a save point and she throws the remote at me and I go, what do you want to watch? And she goes, watch whatever you want. And I know I can't watch whatever I want. I couldn't put on Dave Chappelle or Louis C.K. or some, good fella, anything violent and aggressive. She won't want that because she's probably going to read a book or something.
Yeah.
So I might try and put something that might tantalize her and tease her into watching something with me. And I saw a show come up on 4OD called... Naked, Alone, Trying to Get Home.
Yes.
Now, this is a show where 2 couples are put in the English countryside. They're sometimes...
They're not couples. The ones I watched, they weren't a couple.
Sometimes they're couples because I've seen two men as a couple, and I've seen a man and a woman as a couple.
Okay.
But also sometimes they're up against strangers, and they're strangers as well. Yeah. So they get pairs. They get pairs of people, and they put them in the countryside, and they are stripped of all their worldly goods, and they've just got and they're given a flint and some steel to light a fire, a very thin bit of sleep thing, and water. That's what they're given, and then they're stripped of their clothes because Channel 4 love to take people's clothes off, don't they?
They're on a thing at the moment, aren't they? About just getting people knackered.
If we didn't have online porn now, you'd still be all right with Channel 4, wouldn't you? You'd still be all right. They're still flying the flag for young lads trying to have a cheeky wank at 11 o'clock at night when everyone's asleep. So these two pairs of people, could be a couple, could be strangers, have to find their ways from this start point to the end to win $5,000.
I know.
$2,500 each. And it takes 3 days. So they've got 2 nights in the freezing cold. They've got to build shelters. They've got to make fires. They've got no food. They've got to forage berries, or maybe they'll be lucky and get one of the boxes that has a dead animal in it that they can fill it and try and cook. Yeah.
Or
a surprising amount of vegans. You see the amount of vegans. There's always a vegan. Oh, I've got some oats and an apple. You're like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, so these naked pairings have to do this thing. 2 nights in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
The first episode piqued the wife's interest, and she hasn't watched the next couple with me. But it's good fun. It is good fun.
It's funny, isn't it? On the surface, it's like, oh, this is like a throwaway piece of trash. When Amanda and I watched one last night, and I turned to her and said, "What is the cultural significance? Where is the cultural significance of this? Why are we watching this?" But strangely, when you get past the nudity, it kind of
that didn't happen for me.
Oh, okay. But there was moments in it. Sorry to take over, Jimmy, but there was moments in it when, people were then kind of coming out with their vulnerability. They were expressing their vulnerability. Like there was this moment in the one I watched last night where they were just hiking through. I don't know where they were. Forgive me, but they were on this path, and there was these cyclists coming, and the naked people think, "Oh my God, we must cover up."
Yeah,
and they were having this face-to-face conversation with people like a meter away from them. And after the fact, they were saying, "Oh, I felt so vulnerable there," which you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's quite interesting how it's having those kinds of conversations and kind of, I don't know. It's more than just here's some naked people running.
It's more than titillation, isn't it?
Yeah, running through the Peak District.
Have you seen the gay the 2 guys, the couple?
No.
That's very interesting because one of the reasons they say they've gone onto it is to get away from their phones,
right?
Because they're fine, they're on their phones, they're at home or whatever on their phones.
It's a bit extreme, but yeah, fair play.
After about an hour or so, they're really missing their phones. They talk about their phones the whole time. At the end, they're like, "What we've really found out is that we can just not look at our phones for a while." It's all about their phones.
Yeah.
But again, even though that's funny, it is sort of like you do like. I watch that show, and if my wife's not with me, the adverts come up because it's bloody 4OD, and I'm like that. Yeah. Entertain me. I need entertainment every second of every day.
Constant.
So just having that breakaway does sort of make you think, maybe it would be nice just to be away from everything just for a day and a night. No phone, no nothing, just peace. Now, so I highly recommend that, Stu. It's on 4OD.
I would say. But you're right. Just a final point on it is that I did also turn to Amanda and say, "Oh, they're doing all this for $5,000? Is that it?"
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
Really not worth it. Like people were getting hypothermia. Like they were almost dying.
Yeah, I know. If $5,000 could be a lot to some people. To these people, it doesn't seem like $5,000 is going to be a life change, especially as they only get 2.5 each. If they're not a couple,
risk my life for $5,000,
and they are risking their life, aren't they? They are risking their health. Just one thing I wanted to mention before we move on, Stu. No, because I watched that show, which I recommend, 4OD, naked alone, trying to get home. it recommended another show to me, which I watched last night, and the
Porky's.
wife had gone to bed. Worse.
Okay.
My Massive Cock. My Massive Cock. I went, what time is it? 9 o'clock. How long is My Massive Cock? 47 minutes. I can do My Massive Cock.
Yeah.
It was a show about these men who have penises.
Ooh, okay. It's documentary, is it? Nice.
It's documentary. Yeah. It wasn't porn.
Game show.
These men who have penises that are like 8.5 inches, 9 inches. And you can, I'll be honest, there's not as much willy as you'd like. I would have liked to have seen much more willy than I actually got to see. Unfortunately, they can't show erect willies on Channel 4. But even when you see their flacids, it's enough. These things are like this. Yeah. One guy, and the thing, it's not a showing off show. It's men that are having issues with it.
I bet they do.
These are problems. One chap is 5'7". Talking about how tall we are, Neil. He's 5'7". He's skinny. Like, he's a skinny little lad, bless him. He's a very nice lad. 5'7", skinny as shit, probably weighs about 8 stone. His penis is, when it's erect, I think it was like 8.5 inches.
Oh my good Lord.
And girth was 7 inches. 7 inches. He said, I can get my... Yeah. He went, I can get my hand round my wrist.
Diameter.
And I can't get my hand round my penis. So he made a mold of it to show his friends because he was an artist. And he got it out and took it to the pub. And it was like that. Oh my God. Was absolutely ginormous, this thing. He didn't get a job one time. He went to a job interview and he was wearing a suit, and they said, we don't think you're a very good candidate, but your attire wasn't appropriate. And it's because he was wearing like suit trousers. They're not baggy, are they? And you can just see his whole junk down his trousers. It was a very interesting show. I'd say watch it and fast forward to the good bits. But one bloke even went in to meet a doctor about having a reduction. Okay. Because a lot of women couldn't handle it. And he wasn't like, he was like a 30-year-old man who went to Oxford University, a very, he was he was like a Star Trek fan, and he went to sort of go, maybe I could have an inch taken off. And when they sort of explained the surgery to him, he was like, yeah, I think I'll give that a miss. One thing which I thought was these guys weren't embracing it. They weren't the right personality to have these penises. No, yeah. Because if you had the right personality at that penis, you wouldn't care. But a lot of these guys just wanted normal relationships. And a lot of women would go, oh, I hear you've got this, get it out, and they're like, oh, see ya, so. But it was an interesting documentary.
It sounds it.
Yeah.
Channel 4 do some interesting kind of documentaries that take a look at the stranger side of life.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for the sequel, My Massive Cunt.
Was that an elaborate setup for that gag?
No.
Did you actually watch that program? You did.
I did. Sorry, and I didn't want to use that word either. I was going to say the P word, and then I'm sorry, everyone. They love the nudity on Channel 4. If you're with your partner and you fancy a bit of a giggle and a show or something, Channel 4 never lets you down, does it?
Never lets you down. Just a quick news story because I think it's worth mentioning, and that is the fact that HBO Max is being rebranded to Max. It's now going to combine HBO offerings and Discovery Plus offerings. I'm a big fan of Discovery Plus in this house. And the big news from this, they then announced a whole slew of TV shows coming to this new platform. What do we got? We got another prequel series in the
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. We knew that Penguin was coming, the Colin Farrell helmed Penguin show. God, what else was there? aside from the one I'm going to talk about. I can't remember now. There's a whole load of them. Oh, there was Peter and the Wolf, that kind of whimsical tale.
Yeah, me and John Simmons, Scale Modeler, used to dance round a rug in his lounge in our boxer shorts, wearing motorbike helmets.
Okay.
To Peter and the Wolf soundtrack on record.
Right, brilliant. Well, you'll be pleased to know that Bono is reimagining Peter and the Wolf, and it's coming to HBO Max.
That sounded like something Partridge were to say.
Yeah.
Peter and the Wolf being reimagined by Bono.
It does. It is Monkey Tennis. It does feel like they've had a production meeting with Partridge Productions. But aside from all that, is a reboot. They've officially announced a reboot of the Harry Potter franchise, being made into a TV series, 1 season per book, which I love the sound of. EP, executive produced by the woman herself, J.K. Rowling,
the controversial woman herself.
Indeed. So it's on to a hiding to nothing already. But yeah, Harry Potter remake. Surprised? Excited?
Neither.
Moving on.
No, I don't.
Seems too soon, isn't it? Seems too soon.
It's really too soon.
I like the concept. I think there's more, with their longer form productions, such as a TV series, you can probably do the novels a bit more justice.
Of course you can, and of course you can, but the films are still so big in people's hearts and minds and DVD collections, and there's and still good, that they're not dated or anything, apart from the creator's views, nothing else is dated. They're brilliant. So there's no need to do a TV show. I'll watch them, but I don't want them.
Yeah.
It's such a big world. They've just made the game, explore in the past or explore in the future. That probably not the future because it's set now, but no, I think it's a mistake, to be honest. I think it will crash and burn. I think it will be awful.
I think so.
Yeah, which is sad.
Rock asks, HBO is only here as part of Sky, isn't it? I think a lot of that stuff is on Sky Atlantic, Rock, I think. Whether we eventually get Max, as it's going to be called, I don't know. We've got Discovery Plus as an app over here.
Yep.
Because I've got it and I quite enjoy it, to be fair. So I don't know what the plans are for merging the two content conglomerates over here, but I guess we'll wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, interesting.
I love Potter. Do you want this? I know what you mean, because when you get a book that I've listened to the books, and there is way more in the books than what's in the film, but I still know the end of every book and film.
I don't know. I'm not a massive Harry Potter fan, really, so it makes no odds to me. I asked Amanda, and she seemed quite excited about it, to be fair, and she's a Potterhead herself.
Yeah.
But then saying that, good luck to whoever takes over the role of Harry, because Daniel Radcliffe will always be like recasting Luke Skywalker, isn't it? Really, I don't think you can do that unless you're doing some really bad CGI.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. It's like making a TV show of Star Wars New Hope, and that was done in 1977. Potter came out in 99 or whatever. The big money would be getting those guys back to do The Cursed Child, to do the stage show as a film. That would be the big money, not just a TV show. Like, come on, try harder. Come up with an original idea.
Yes, indeed. It smacks of right. We've got this new service coming out. We need to get people in on it and invested in it. What can we do? What have we got on our portfolio of IP? Right, Harry Potter. Fuck it, let's do that.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere they were trying to get Radcliffe and Watson back for something, but I don't think they'll. I think they've said they won't do it. I mean, I don't even think Emma Watson acts anymore, does she?
I don't know.
None of them need to act anymore.
No, God, no. Rock, I haven't seen English. It's again, it's on my massive list of things I probably should watch, but I don't end up watching because I watch episodes of Columbo. So yeah, it's on the list because I have heard it's well regarded. Yeah, so if you go onto the iPlayer, it's well, as he says, it's got Emily Blunt in. Is it a historical thing, Rock? Is it set in Australia or the States, or like, a period piece? I don't know. I don't know much about it, but do let us know, my friend.
A revisionist Western television miniseries produced by the BBC on Prime.
Okay.
Stars Emily Blunt and Chask Spencer.
Right.
Heard of it.
Jimmy.
Yes.
It's 8:30. Okay, so we are reintroducing. I think this is a moment for people, fans of the show of past. This is a moment because it was a big weekend. When the hell was it?
Not last
2 weekends ago. I can't remember now. But it's been a big period for wrestling. So wrestling fans, we brought it back. That's right. It's time for the Botchcast. There we go. Did those bells burst your eardrums? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry. Jimmy, I've been invigorated by wrestling this past week.
Have you?
I have, because WrestleMania 39, although admittedly I haven't seen all of night 2, night 1 I absolutely loved, and we're going to get into that. We'll probably have to do it quite briefly because looking at the time, we're going to go long. So we'll crack on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I've been invigorated by wrestling this past week or so. And I thought, the Botchcast is such a big part of the Renaissance Men history that I'd quite like to bring it back as a segment each week. Because if nothing else, it's going to inspire me to continue to watch Raw and SmackDown each week because I would then have to talk about it.
Yeah.
You don't seem that enthused.
It's why I originally wanted to come on board.
Of course it was.
Wasn't it? Because I was massively into wrestling at the time. I was watching all wrestling podcasts. That's
how we got you in.
YouTubers. And I was like, I want to talk about wrestling. And then wrestling just sort of went like that. Oh, I don't know if I want to talk about it. But
but hopefully this is the start of a beautiful new relationship with wrestling for us. So the Botchcast is rebacked. Reborn is back. Rebacked. Let's go with that. Is Rybacked.
Not him.
No. But anyway, let's talk about WrestleMania 39, which happened on, God, when was this? Not last weekend, the weekend before. It was like the third? No.
Yeah, it was like the 4th or something, wasn't it? The 3rd or the 4th. It was 2 nights, wasn't it? It was the Saturday night and the Sunday night. We had 2 shows, each about 3.5 to 4 hours long.
Yeah.
The first one finishing with the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and the second night finishing with Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. The bloodline belts on the line.
Yes. Of the 2 nights, put you on the spot. Which was your favourite?
Oh, I honestly couldn't say. Couldn't say. Yeah, to me it was one big show. Even because I didn't watch them live. I spread them out.
Yeah.
And to me it was just one big WrestleMania weekend. I didn't mind that it was over 2 nights because I've got so much to watch. And in many ways, I wish all my family were into it. Yeah. I'd like to celebrate it like Christmas or something. Do you know what I mean? You have your WrestleMania dinner. You all sit down and watch the wrestling. You all beat each other up afterwards, give each other wrestling presents.
Yeah.
And then drink and then try and watch some more wrestling.
Yep. Sounds delightful.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it being over 2 nights, only because it's such a first night is great because it's a Saturday night, so you get all of Sunday to watch it, or indeed you could watch it live, being a Saturday night. But then the Sunday, I can't watch it. can't watch it live because I'll be knackered for work, and
I'm completely with
a
you.
day off.
It should be one night. It's ridiculous that it's 2 nights. What I meant, couldn't say which was my favourite night because I enjoyed both the stuff. But yeah, 2 nights is too much. You know, I wake up Saturday morning, I watch the blooming Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
because usually I really enjoyed the Hall of Fame. It was pretty shit this year, but you know, I watch it and I do it whilst I'm in the kitchen. You know, making breakfast, drinking wine, watching the Hall of Fame, and then getting ready for the next one.
Yeah.
But the pomp and pageantry of WrestleMania, that's what Cody Rhodes said before he came back to WWE when he was being interviewed. He was like, what? I think someone said, what has WWE got over AEW? And he's like, WrestleMania.
The showcase of the immortals.
The granddaddy of them all.
Yeah.
Exactly, Stu.
Exactly. Now, I don't want to go through, because we'll be here all night, I don't want to go through each match on the card and give our thoughts on it. I just want to talk to you about the event as a whole and get a sense of what you thought about it and what was your particular highlight from the two evenings. You know, maybe that was a match, maybe that was a moment, maybe that was a celebrity, I don't know, a spot, whatever. What will you take? What will be your memberberry from WrestleMania 39 this year?
There was some really good matches on the card. There really was.
Incredible. That first night was just chef's kiss.
Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley.
Good surprise. Yep.
I mean, those are two women. It's going to sound sexist, but it's not that. They're two women that fight like men. It's hard hitting. It's quick. You know, sometimes you watch some of the women wrestling. It's a little bit slower, a little bit softer, and you can't have that in wrestling. It could be quicker and softer, but when it's slow and soft, it doesn't work. It needs to be hard. And Rhea and Charlotte are not scared about hitting each other. Charlotte is incredible. Charlotte Flair is absolutely incredible. She is, Stu. She's a wanker. She's awful. But
no, I appreciate her as a talent. Brilliant. I just don't. It's not that I don't like her as a person. I just don't like her character.
No, me neither. She's a dick. She's an absolute dick. She's so unlikable. So if she's a heel, it really works.
Yeah.
And Rhea is a big Aussie woman who will really hit someone. So theirs was hard hitting. Charlotte takes a bloody nose, you know, a lot, and it was brilliant. That was a brilliant fight, and Rhea got the belt, which she didn't do a couple of years back, you know.
No, that felt like her moment, and you know, for me, that match was a surprise, and maybe it shouldn't have been a surprise, but a surprise in the sense that I wasn't looking forward to it at all. I had no interest in that match whatsoever, predominantly because of Charlotte Flair. But
also, they hadn't built it up. It hadn't been built up.
I hadn't watched anything, you know, from the Rumble to Mania, so I couldn't comment on. So I was going in quite cold, to be honest. But yeah, it was a great match, and it surprised me in the sense that how invested I got into it.
Yeah,
it was pretty damn good.
Well, that's it. If you can watch a match and just see the WWE package before, which they always do brilliantly on, better than AEW, better than anyone. Their packages beforehand to get you pumped for the fight is always amazing. But if you can watch one match, I remember when I was out of wrestling and Lee Blackburn, listener of the show, friend of the show, he said, I think you'd like some of the stuff now. And I watched Mania, and it was the Mania where Steph, you know, stole the belt from Brock and Roman. That match got me back in. I didn't need to know these characters. I didn't need to know them. Going back to the WrestleMania, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos.
Yeah, for me that's the big one. That's the moment. That was the culmination of a fantastic overall event from night one. But that match, you know, it was a culmination of a 18-month long storyline, or a part of that 18-month long storyline.
Yep.
long form storytelling is very rare in wrestling these days, and particularly in WWE. And they did it so well, and the culmination of that, I think it was always inevitable that Owens and Zayn were going to win that match, but the way the match played out, you
saw it was inevitable. We thought Cody was inevitable.
Okay, that's fair. Perhaps I am. Yeah.
We hoped it seemed inevitable, and you're right. It was the right.
That's my interpretation of it.
It was the right choice. It was the right choice.
Yeah, and I was genuinely emotional in that match when they won that. And I don't get emotional about wrestling very, very often, if at all. Yeah. And I think it was because of the investment that you'd put into the storyline throughout the 18 months, and just good storytelling, and it was a good way to end that. Although they're saying it's not the end for both these four people and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. It's not. Yeah. It's a storyline that will carry on, but it felt like the end of a chapter, I guess. And it got to me. It was just lovely. That's great. Lovely, mate.
And Kevin and obviously Sammy are best friends. They've been best friends since they were young. They've come up in the they've wrestled in the bingo halls together. They've wrestled throughout New Japan and all these places. With Jim Cornette when he was there, it was in Ring of Honor, and then to NXT and made their way up. Last year, Sami Zayn was wrestling the cast of Jackass at WrestleMania.
Which now, I enjoyed.
On record. And if you see Broken Skull Sessions with Sami Zayn, he says that's his favorite moment in wrestling. Like he absolutely, because it's something that was so stands out and it was special to him.
Great. Giant mouse traps. It's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. It was great fun. But that said, for wrestling fans to go from that to the one of the only tag matches in history to be the headline, to headline the Mania night. That's a big deal. And they're best friends and they won it. They won the belts. The Usos have had the belts for 400-500 days or whatever. It was great. And the match was great. The Usos are incredible, and Kevin and Sammy know what they're doing. So brilliant.
Yeah, it was fantastic. A fantastic in-ring story as well. Like as that match went on, I thought, oh my god! Like as they were pummeling Sammy, I just thought, oh, he's got to lose at some point. They're doing it. They're doing this, so he's got no option but to not kick out. But he kept kicking out, and they really kind of flipped that in-ring story on its head, and it was great. It was great.
Yeah. Of other matches that blew me away, I got to give honourable mention to Trish, Lita, and Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Versus Damage Control.
That was my least favourite of the evening, but
2 reasons.
Go on.
Trish Stratus. Okay. No, 2 reasons. How good Trish Stratus was still.
Mm-hmm.
She was great. And also just seeing Trish and Lita and Becky come down.
Member berries
for me. and they were so like Trish and Lita. Like when I was probably too old then. But we must have been 16, 17 when they were about Attitude Era. They were awesome. They were incredible. They were superstars. They were the biggest women, when there was The Rock and Triple H and everyone, Lita and Trish. Them with Becky was amazing. Edge versus Balor. Was that night 1 or 2?
That was night 2.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. I
haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it. So
it's good.
I mean, don't worry. I know what happened. But is it worth a watch at this point?
Yeah.
Going back and seeing what happened?
Completely. But that's the problem with Balor. Balor is incredible, but as a character, he's not that exciting. Even when he is dressed as Venom with belts hanging off his head, he's not that exciting. And Edge was exciting when he came back.
Yeah.
But I think I've seen too much of him.
Yeah. I think that the novelty of his return is worn off slightly. I don't know, is that unfair? I mean, certainly he hadn't wrestled for a decade. You don't want to.
It's worn
fair
off.
Play to him.
It's worn off. Just comment in the comment section from John Simmons Scale Modeler. He's out for drinks with his good wife and his friends Ross and Lois. He says Ross says hi. Hi Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next comment also says fuck up about wrestling.
Okay.
Go fuck yourself, Ross.
I want to mention Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio.
Yes.
Again, that night one, that was fantastic. And again, had moved me. Moved me. And that was again the storytelling, because it's a relatable story, isn't it? As you know, as we are fathers, having I hope Benjamin doesn't turn into a Dominic Mysterio
he will
type character, kind of going from juvie to prison and spending a fortnight in prison and then coming out a different character and growing a mullet and doing all, and besmirching me. But you never know. But in all seriousness, I loved that as a story, and the father kind of standing up and he whipped him with his belt. He spanked his bottom. I love that bit.
That's funny, isn't it? In a film, that would be like child abuse. But in the wrestling world, you want the dad to beat the hell out the son. They set that up so well. Even at the Hall of Fame on the Friday night,
the commitment to the story has been great, isn't it?
They don't usually do bits, but when Ray came down, everyone stood up apart from Dom and Rhea. And then when he was doing his speech, Dom and Rhea stood up and walked out. It was brilliant. So they did a great. And Dom's great as that little snivelly heel. I don't know how he'll ever.
Absolute nuclear heat, that boy at the moment.
Yeah, he'll have to stay like that till he gets in better shape to be a face.
Yeah, I do. I didn't Rey Mysterio. He went on Logan Paul's podcast, I think, this week, and said that he would like this story to end in a hair versus mask match between him and Dom. And I think that'd be quite good, because ultimately I think Dom has to get the mask. He came out with the mask in his entrance, and he looked great with it on.
Yeah, he looked good. He's got to beat Ray. He's got to take his mask.
Yeah, but I don't think I think he's got to earn it. I think that's where the story's got to go. There has to be a redemption somewhere.
Yes,
and then Ray has to earn the mask.
If you do it well, you can do it where he gets his mask, but he becomes a face during the match. If you do, it's not going to be easy at all. But he's got the Judgment Day around him to start pushing him to do things he might not want to do, and then eventually, I think Ray. They'll have to fight, and he'll beat him, and then Ray has to give him the mask, and there has to be tears, and it could be great.
Yeah,
there's a lot to do to get
what
there.
I was going to say. That's a story I would be invested in and seeing where that goes. Because I think there's a lot of payoff there. Because that's quite a moment, isn't it? Ray would, allowing him to wear not necessarily Rey Mysterio's own mask, but to wear the family mask, if you like. And also, just a quick note on Raw, because I did watch Raw. Was it WrestleMania? I can't remember, but Rey Mysterio was wearing a mask, and on like his chin straps, he'd written "mask" as if he'd forgotten what his mask was. I thought that was
easy to forget.
Strange moment. But that was a great match.
And talking of Logan Paul,
yes,
Logan Paul versus Seth.
Resigned, of course. Logan Paul as well signed a new contract with the WWE.
He's a real problem for me, Logan Paul, because he's been an awful person. He did that terrible thing, didn't he, where he went into that forest in Japan and found that hanging body, and he used that to get viewers and that sort of thing. So he did that. I think since then he's probably apologized, and actually when I see him doing his podcasts, he's okay. He seems like a nice guy. People that I like in podcasts talk about him and say he's a good guy.
He's talented.
And as a wrestler, he's fucking brilliant. He's so good. He's so athletic. He looks the part. His selling is brilliant. His face is brilliant. So many wrestlers don't do anything with their faces. He does. And he's a brilliant heel because of who he is. You know, he's like a better
figure.
Yeah, he's like a better version of The Miz already. You know, he's brilliant. His buckshot lariat is amazing.
Did you like the involvement of KSI and him in the big bottle of Prime costume?
Yeah, I hate the fact that people buy Prime. That kills me. You could see it coming a mile off, but the timing was very good.
Yeah, when he moved the Prime KSI onto the table.
It was very good.
Yeah, just in time for Logan to get him with the
can't knock him. He's bloody good, and he brings eyes to the show. It was great.
Let's cover night 2, which is I haven't seen, so I'm interested in your thoughts.
You haven't watched Roman versus Cody?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Right. Let's talk about it quick and move on. So if you haven't seen night 2, I'd say go and watch it, Stu.
Okay.
Like, it's great. It's great. And I don't even want to talk too much about Roman and Cody, apart from it's one of the best matches I've ever seen Roman have. And these things keep coming up on my YouTube shorts, where it's got the song that time goes by so slowly. And it's a wrestler from like their origins to where, to 2023, And it showed it. One came up the other day, which was Cody, and she was like, yesterday it was Cody, and you see him when he sort of first came in. He's incredible now. He's an absolute superstar, and the bit where it goes to him as Stardust, it's unbelievable that that's him. It's like, what? How is that him? Why is that him? And even in AEW, he was good. Yeah. People turned on him, obviously. But now he's bigger, he's bulkier. He looks like an absolute star. His outfit's amazing. On the mic, he's brilliant. In the ring, he's brilliant. His selling is brilliant. And with Roman, that match, it was brilliant. It was the best thing I've seen with Roman. He was really trying. Paul Heyman on the outside doing his usual, stuff. He's brilliant, isn't he?
So good. I really need a wee, so can I just pop and go have a wee?
Yeah, what am I going to talk about?
I don't know.
I can go back to my biggest cock, which I can carry on talking about wrestling if needs be. Because I'm going to I'll go on to Vince McMahon.
Do that.
Okay.
I'll be back shortly.
And there, he's gone. And like that, he's left me in charge of the show. Foolish man. But so that was WrestleMania. Obviously, afterwards on the Monday night, we had Raw, which I think Stu's going to talk about because he saw it. But the other big news that came out that weekend or just after that weekend was that WWE has been sold to the same company that owns the UFC, which is very interesting, obviously, because years and years ago, Shane McMahon was trying to convince Vince to buy the UFC, saying it was going to be big, before it was big. And Vince stupidly said no, they probably should have. Well, they might have screwed it up, knowing them. But the big sale of WWE, where Vince is back. Vince did the big interview where he came back with his new look, which was dyed jet black hair and a pencil mustache like that, dyed eyebrows.
You're talking Vince's moustache?
Yeah, I'm talking Vince. The big sale that happened.
Company, yes, of course.
To the company. It's Endeavor, who own UFC, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And Vince turned up on TV with this little pencil mustache, dyed. I thought he looked brilliant. Personally, I know his hair's none of that color, but he looked like such a villain, such a pantomime. Yes. It was so WWE.
It was.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then they're like, and because of the sale, he is now back with his fingers in the pies, everyone seems to have forgotten about why they got rid of him in the first place.
Sexual shenanigans
Yeah.
seems to be swept under the carpet somewhat.
Yeah.
But there was a lot, wasn't there, coming out? The Raw after Mania wasn't great, and people were and there was rumors that Vince was there, on Gorilla doing lots of creative, where we've had this fantastic period where Triple H had been in charge of creative, and I think that's kind of coming back. I think people are less concerned now that Vince is involved. I think it might have just been a one-off, because I think Triple H has now been involved, certainly with SmackDown and Raw, and going forward has his hands on the rudder, as it were. So
is that it? Do we think?
Yes.
I hope so. I hope so. But I want Vince back on TV. The problem is I love Vince. I love him. And you ask Lord Doolan, me and Lord Doolan talk about Vince all the time. We love him. It doesn't matter what he does. For me, it's like Hogan. I don't care what he does.
Yeah.
If I bumped into Hogan, I'd freak the F out. Yeah, of course I would. It's Hulk Hogan. Yeah. It's one of my childhood heroes. Mm-hmm. And Vince is one of my not childhood, but like teen villains. He's what he created shaped part of me.
Yeah.
So I can't hate the man because he was a dick. A lot of people are dicks. I can't not appreciate what he's done for my life.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I know. I would agree with a lot of what you're saying there. Yeah, very much so. Can I just touch briefly on this week's Raw?
That's what I said. I said you were going to talk about Raw, so yes.
Yeah, only very briefly, just some highlights from it. A good episode. I enjoyed it. It's my first Raw in quite some time. I didn't watch the Raw the Raw and SmackDown after Mania, so I'm going from this week. And I think going forward on here, I'll talk about the SmackDown from the night that we record and the Raw. So that's how we'll play it. We'll tweak that, but going forward, I'll look to talk about SmackDown and Raw together. But Raw was all right. A great match between Finn Balor and Rey Mysterio, like kind of just out of nowhere. Well, it wasn't out of nowhere. Obviously, it's the Judgment, a member of the Judgment Day who Dom is a part of, facing off against Rey Mysterio. But it was a great match.
Yeah, how can that be bad?
Exactly. Yeah, it was, and the fact that Finn Balor is wrestling with steel staples in his head and tears here and there. I don't know how he's doing it, to be honest. But a fantastic match. I guess the big news really is the fact that we've got new women's tag champions. Did you know this?
What, Lita and Becky got beat?
Well, Lita, there was a segment behind scene where someone had mysteriously attacked Lita. And then Trish said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll step up and we can defend these titles against
Rodriguez,
Morgan and Rodriguez."
Yeah, I knew it'd be them.
Morgan and Rodriguez won. They're the new champs. And Trish Stratus turned. She's now a heel. She's turned on Becky Lynch. The rumor being
WTF?
Yeah, Becky versus Trish at SummerSlam is the rumors. But we'll see.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's happened. Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed. That was quite cool. See, Bronson Reed is a beast, isn't he?
I like Bronson Reed.
They call him they called him they called him or referred to him as a natural disaster. And I love that because I love the natural disasters.
Yeah.
But he does have that very spherical look about him, like Earthquake and Typhoon had.
Yeah, brilliant.
To see him up against Bobby Lashley was quite interesting. Got a great promo from Cody Rhodes, kind of addressing a lot of the shenanigans that's gone down with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he said, "Brock, I want you at WrestleMania Backlash."
Yep. So one assumes Brock has to return and say yes, we'll do that. I assume that's what's going to happen.
And he's got to get Cody's got to win that, hasn't he?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's their white meat babyface. He's just been screwed over at WrestleMania.
But do you
then Brock attacks him on the Raw afterwards when he says he's going to be his tag partner. He has to beat Brock. He has to.
Yeah, I think.
Otherwise, he's had 2 major losses, and that just sends his his credentials down. He's got to.
But I wonder if that's the journey they're taking him on. They're going to take him down to rock bottom, and then he's going to climb back up. I don't know.
Brock, if Brock beats him, it will have to be via shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
He can't lose to Roman and then to Brock. If they do, then he's not getting. Who's gonna? You've got to believe in your hero, and if he keeps getting beat, you're like, fuck him. Yeah. He's got to win that.
I think they're teasing a breakup of Damage Control.
Fine.
Yeah. Which I'm quite happy about because I really like Io Sky, and I'd want her to kind of break away from that. And as a collective, I think they've got what they can out of them as a threesome. I think they now need to all individually, both Bailey's obviously Bailey, but Io Sky and Dakota Kai kind of need to spread their wings a bit now, I think, and do their own thing.
Yeah.
And the main event was Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa. And I think Sikoa won that, if I remember right. Yeah, Sikoa won that. The kind of main storyline from this episode of Raw was the fact that loads of wrestlers arrived late because of like poor weather conditions. They had trouble getting to the event, so the card was like really rearranged.
Oh, really? It sounds like a good card.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like Solo needs to gain about 150 pounds? As the enforcer of the group.
No, I think he's got that Umaga look about him.
Well, yeah, but he's half the size of Umaga. Because he's Rikishi's son, isn't he?
I don't know. I lose track of.
Yeah, so he's the Usos' brother. Okay. So Rikishi had the Usos. They're his twin sons.
Yeah,
and then he had Solo. So he's the Usos' younger brother.
Okay.
I just feel like, he's got a great presence, and I like his bleached hair and everything. But I just feel he uses the spike, the Samoan spike, which was Umaga's move. I just feel like he could do with being
muscle or fatness.
Don't give a shit. Whatever.
Just something.
Either.
Just something. Okay.
Yeah.
Mass.
Mass. Add 50 pounds. Okay. Just be bigger. Look how big is like Yokozuna and Rikishi and Umaga were.
It's a fair point,
boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs a bit more. Like a physical presence about him. I get that, Jimmy. I get that.
Well, I think loads of them do. I think Kevin Owens does. I think Sami Zayn does. Like, get in the gym. Vince wants that, and Triple H, and people want that. If you're in good shape, people go, hello.
Yeah. Just a word briefly on Keith Lee, who's getting a lot of stick, particularly from Jim Cornette.
Is he?
Yeah, because he's just doesn't care. Clearly doesn't care anymore because he's now got grey hair. He stopped dyeing his hair. He's got a grey. He looks like he's aged 20 years in the last 6 months.
I've seen clips of him. I thought he had bleached it.
Oh no, it's great, and he's out of shape, and
Can you bring up a picture of him?
Let's get up a picture of Keith Lee. I don't like to speak badly.
He's brilliant, Keith Lee.
Yeah, I know, and it's just a shame to see where he's kind of at the moment. Can I find a recent?
He was really when they brought him up in Survivor Series. Remember that awesome Survivor Series where they had NXT versus SmackDown versus Raw?
Yeah,
and the last people were like Keith Lee and Roman. And when Keith Lee came face to face with Brock in the Royal Rumble, it seemed like they were building him up, and then it just fell apart.
That's kind of. Can I get any other footage of him? Oh, come on, Keith. So, what's a recent Keith Lee?
So, there he is, Dad. In that,
is great. That's showing the greatness, but I want.
I think he looks quite cool.
Yeah, he doesn't have his grey beard though. Anyway, he's it's like he's kind of given up. He's thought, I can't be asked. I can't be asked to go to the gym or just continue to dye my hair. But
that is one of the problems, isn't it? Like, I love that when you see the wrestlers still with the dark hair. Jimmy Hart turned up at the at the Hall of Fame. Yeah, because it was Andy Kaufman, right? It was Andy Kaufman being put into the Hall of Fame, and Jerry the King was recovering from probably his 12th heart attack, probably due to a combination of making love to a 20-year-old woman whilst dyeing his hair. So his friend Jimmy Hart came down, and Jimmy Hart looks exactly the same, apart from his lower teeth come way in front of the front teeth, the top teeth.
Bless
so
him.
He's got this bulldog look, but he looked incredible. It was madness. Everything died. Every hair died on his entire body. But he looked amazing.
Yeah. There we go. That was the Botchcast. Yeah. I'm glad to have it back. I'm glad to talk some wrestling again because it's enjoyable stuff. So hopefully that's something we can tweak and continue to go forward and people enjoy it. So there we go. That was the Botchcast. And let's transition back to the regular programming.
And I'm very excited, Stu, for what we've got coming next because I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna call an audible, and we're just gonna do the Marvels trailer. Okay, we've both seen Ahsoka, so it looked good. I'm really looking forward to that show. I'm just as an aside, I'm rewatching Rebels to get prepped for Ahsoka. So, great stuff. And there's lots of stuff that came out of Celebration that we haven't even spoken about.
Well, I was going to say we were going to
do that next week.
We could have had John Simmons, Scale Modeler, on the show to talk about Celebration because he was there.
Yeah,
for all 4 days he was there, but he's out having dinner with his friend Ross and their wives. So
never mind.
We can't have
never
him on.
Mind.
But maybe next week.
But yes, so let's transition to hot takes. One of my favorite segments. Let's do it. Here we go. Hot takes. Let's react to the Marvels teaser trailer. Sorry, Jim. Yes, you can say.
I cannot see the curtains.
Oh, can you not?
No.
Thank you.
I know you love the curtains.
That would annoy me.
And usually I wouldn't say anything, but I know that afterwards I'll say, Stu, I didn't see the curtains, and you'll go, oh, I'm annoyed.
Yeah. So let me just upload some curtains. And
now, Stu.
Yeah.
Are you going to separate this part from the entire show?
Probably not.
Okay, fine. Well, I'm excited about this because there's the curtains.
You see?
They're gone.
They're gone.
You just put them up and they went.
No,
they're back. Yeah.
Never.
I'm excited about the Marvels.
Can you see the hot takes, by the way?
No, that's gone.
Okay, let me sort that out as well.
I'm excited about the Marvels TV show. I didn't watch Ms. Marvel.
Yep.
I watched a couple of episodes and I was like, I don't think this is for me. That's better. There we go. Now we're talking. But I sent you that lovely little video of Brie Larson on the red carpet.
Yes.
Someone going, hey, those horrible American interviewers on the red carpet going, I'm here with Brie Larson. How you feel about coming back to playing Captain Marvel? And she's like, does anyone want me to come back? I don't think they do. And it's like, I was kind of sad and enjoyed it. Like I was sad that she's heard the disdain for what that film, not what that film was, for what she brought to that film, but also the story of that film. Like there wasn't enough journey for her, and I felt for her. So I'm really hoping that in this film we get more from her because she's a brilliant actor, Brie Larson. I know that she can come across a bit funny in interviews, but I've watched her in some great stuff. So
the Room's an amazing film.
Not The Room, the one that the Disaster Artist was named after.
No. Is it The Room? Yeah, I'm sure it's The Room.
The Room. Anyway, she's great. I liked her in that show that I watched about the girl, with Toni Collette with multiple personality disorder, which is not called that anymore.
When I googled The Room, that's
what comes up. The Tommy Wiseau movie.
Perhaps it's not called The Room.
But anyway, Stu, we both agree she's a good actress, right?
Yeah. Oh yes, very much so.
So I hope they can give her something good to work with. And the girl who played Ms. Marvel was good. She was a good actress. I just wasn't enjoying the show. I like Monica Rambeau. I think she's good.
Yes.
So this is a film, yes, Stu?
this is a film. It's called The Marvels. Obviously, it's uniting Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau from various Disney Plus TV shows, and obviously Captain Marvel. I can't remember where she's at in terms of the MCU these days.
No,
Probably
I can't.
out in the universe doing something. So yeah,
Stu, I'm getting sick, right? The guys that I used to really enjoy, guys and girls, I used to really enjoy watching on YouTube, slagging things off.
Yeah,
I'm sick of listening to them slag things off.
Okay.
It's become too easy to just slag things off. And they're going,
okay.
Oh my God, yeah, what a surprise. It's 3 women trying to save the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've had enough of this. Like, yes, it was funny when it first started happening, but I've had enough of this. Let's try and encourage something good. So I'm hoping for a lot from this.
Okay. I've seen this. Don't get your hopes up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Shit, come on.
Yeah, okay, right. You ready? Let's do
Yeah.
this is the Marvels teaser trailer, which was released this week. Let's give it a go, shall we? Jimmy, do tell me if the volume is too high, as always.
Perfect.
Captain Rambo? What the hell are you doing?
Entering the jump point perimeter. I'm gonna get you some readings, Fury. Hello? Hello?
Captain Rambo?
Is this an Avengers test?
Where's Captain Rambo?
What the?
Hi.
We're looking for Kamala Khan.
Okay, so our powers are entangled. I can manipulate light energy. And you...
I could totally show you.
Not again! Hi.
Where's our daughter?
Wherever you were.
We're a team.
Oh, no. We're not a team.
We're not a team.
There you go, the Marvels.
I kind of enjoyed bits of it, Stu. There was more personality from Brie Larson for sure.
Yes,
Little bits of her looking up and looking around. There was a bit more from her. I like the girl who plays Miss Marvel. So it wasn't a good trailer. But it seemed like there was some personality and some fun between the 3 of them.
My initial impression when I watched that when it released was it just looked very vanilla, like just very kind of run of the mill. It almost had a feel about this is season 2 of Ms. Marvel on Disney Plus, as opposed to this is their big film for November, the Christmas period. It just didn't have that feel about it. That may come in future trailers, but as a like a teaser to get me really going about the Marvels as a concept, this team up movie, if you like, then I don't think it did a great job. But
yes, it's true. You're 100% right. It did seem like season 2 of Miss Marvel. It seemed like a fun, jumpy, funny TV show. 100% right. And that's what I enjoyed about it. But again, you're right that it didn't say this is a big movie that I can be in awe of. But maybe I'm okay with that. Maybe I think maybe I'm okay just to see a nice nice little condensed, contained film with these three actresses having fun, quite exciting. I was okay with that. It didn't have any of the lofty soundbite lines that a lot of these films have. It didn't have the ding. This was the one time that the three of us could come together. Ding.
Yeah.
There was only us left. There was none of that.
Yeah.
There was none of that crap, which is just, sound bites from films. So I was all right with that. That just looked like a bit of fun.
Perhaps there is
I'm
something
fine with that.
to be said with just a nice self-contained, it's not like universe shattering, altering, MCU universe altering or shattering, it's just it's these three characters shifting into each other's times and spaces. It's a buddy film.
Yeah, and she's very likable. The girl who plays
very much
Marvel.
So, yeah.
I liked Monica Rambeau in WandaVision. I thought she was good, and I know that Brie Larson can do good acting, and that seemed a lot more of a likable character than what we've seen previously. Because previously she's just been nothing but previously she's just been cocky, hasn't she? Everything was cocky as fuck because she was super powerful. She was super powerful. And it's nice when people are cocky, but when if you're cocky, you get your comeuppance. If you're really cocky, you get your comeuppance, you have your downfall, and then you build yourself back up again. And we never got that from Captain Marvel. She was always just like, cocky fucking shit. So in that, she was falling over a bit. She was a bit quirky. I'm all right with that. I thought that looked like good fun. I didn't think it looked amazing.
That's a fair point. No, that is. I think it's certainly not going to be a film that I'm going to race out into the cinema and watch. I do think Marvel at the moment have a bit of an issue about that.
Yeah.
Like they don't. For me, they're not making films that I want to go out and have to see in the cinema. I'll wait for them to come out on Disney Plus. But I think that's another issue that they need to try and solve. And this falls into that gap. I'll wait for it to come on Disney Plus and I'll enjoy it when it. Well, she might. Well, I'll watch it anyway. I'll watch it when it comes out, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's you've won me round slightly because I was a bit too negative. I think maybe this is rubbish. Look at it, rubbish. I didn't have an issue with three female leads. Don't get me wrong, but it was the vanilla nature of it. It was it appeared to be nothing special on screen, but perhaps that isn't a bad thing, as you say. Perhaps that's what we need at the moment. Who knows?
I know what you mean. I might watch it again and have a different. But I think also, as I said before, I'm over. I've been indulged in these people hating on stuff,
and that's fair.
Admittedly, when stuff is crap, it's crap, and I'll watch it and I'll go, yeah, they're right. Daisy Ridley's coming back as Rey in Star Wars, one of the big announcements at Celebration, and people are going, Christ, she was awful, Whereas for me, I've gone, okay, well, she's not a bad actress. She's just got to be given the right story. Give her the right story and it will work. It's not her fault what happened in those three films. She was great in Force Awakens. Bit too powerful at the end, but she was still good. So I'm getting a bit sick of everyone just hating on stuff. If you're not going to give it a chance,
Yeah. Well, Renaissance Men will be the home of positivity going forward.
Yes, like mad.
Yeah. What can I say? That's what we'll do. Yes, there we go. That was Hot Takes, and that was the Marvel's teaser trailer. Perhaps we'll bring back one of the Star Wars ones for next week if there's nothing jumping out at us.
Well, Stu, the same thing happened with the Ahsoka trailer. People are going, "Oh my god, look, it's all just women." Of course it is.
Brilliant! It looked amazing.
Well, they're women characters that we know from Rebels, Sabine and what's the Twi'lek called?
Hera.
Hera, yeah, and Ahsoka, obviously. It's like they're characters we know. It's fine. It doesn't matter that they're women. It doesn't fucking matter that they're women. It's just got to be good.
A good character is a good character.
Yeah, it's got a good beat. It's got a good beat.
Yeah. Jimmy, let's round the show off. Let's take it home. That was Hot Takes. And this is and finally. Oh fuck. Hang on. Oh, I had it. Oh.
I thought
and finally.
Oh.
Here we go. This story titled Irritable Owl Syndrome.
Which I love, Stu.
Oh,
now, I presumed it was like the return of Bird News.
It is. Got bird news for you.
Did we not have a Bird News sting?
Oh, shit, we do, don't we? I thought we did.
We might not. We might have ditched Bird News before you got the news stings.
Never mind. But this is Bird News. Yep, Irritable Owl Syndrome. Let's go with this. This is Randy Psycho Owl terrorizing UK town and holding residents hostage with savage attacks. And the part of the story that got me was the randiness, the sexual aspect of this. Forgive me, I haven't read further on in the story so it could be a very minor aspect to the story, but we'll go with it.
Well, when you said Randy, I thought it was someone's name.
Oh, as in
because I'm a massive fan. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of the name Randy. I wanted to call my first kid Randy, and my wife would not go for it. Luckily, we didn't because he's got an American accent.
Yeah. Yes.
So you'd go, "What's your name?" And you go, "Randy."
Randy.
He'd say it exactly like that.
So Randy the Psycho Owl. No, it's this bolshy bird of prey, which is 2 foot tall and boasts a 5 foot wingspan, has drawn blood in a series of psychotic swoops on children and animals. Residents are now scared to leave their homes. Where is this taking place?
Jesus.
There's some damage there. If you're watching live on the feed, some what I would describe as talon scrapes to somebody's scalp.
Well, you say somebody, that person's clearly in their late 70s.
Yes, Liz Hodgkins, 72, was left with a bloodied scalp after the Psycho Owl attacked her. The horrid hooter has savaged children, old folk, dog walkers, and their pets, leaving locals scared to leave their homes.
They're not scared. I could easily punch an owl out of the sky.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
Even okay.
No. You saw the trouble I had with the fox. I wouldn't be able to, it would get me. The owl would get me. 5 foot wingspan, man.
It's a Canadian great horned owl. Basically, he's frustrated because it's breeding season and he's struggling to find love. I think we can all appreciate that kind of
season.
Yeah. They have warned residents of Sedgley, West Midlands, to body swerve the bolsty bird of prey, which is 2 foot tall. 2 foot tall, Christ! Boasts a 5 foot wingspan and has drawn blood in a series of psychotic swoops. There he is. He looks bolshy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks bolshy. Yeah. He's got come to bed eyes. Well, take your eyes out. Liz Hodgkins, as we said, was left with deep cuts to her scalp after being savaged by its razor-sharp talons on her driveway. A 13-year-old boy has also been attacked.
Hang on, Stu. Has Liz Hodgkins aged 2 years since the previous paragraph?
74, 72. She has.
God, it took a long time to get this story out, didn't it?
Oh my God, that's putting some. Calling into question the validity of this journalism.
And it's a good paper, right? Which paper is it?
That's the Daily Star. The hallmark of quality. The bird is thought to be an escaped pet and has stepped up its attacks in recent weeks. It's like it's a terrorist organization. Real IRA. The bird troubles. It normally feasts on small mammals such as rabbits, ducks, mice, and voles. But grandmother of 5 Liz said it took a shine to her as she was shutting her front gates.
Jesus, Liz, age 76.
The retired lab technician said the owl was in the tree and I waved to it and said hello. As I was walking back, I felt this big hit on the back of my head. I had my grandkids staying and they were worried about me when they saw all the blood. I asked my neighbor and he said he'd been attacked while taking the dog out. They see it on their fence. It looks a nasty thing, really. One neighbour is soft on it and doesn't want anything happening to it, although it's not a native bird.
Yeah, it's not British. Although it's not British, I don't want anything happening to it.
I think it's someone's pet who had it illegally. It's an immigrant. That's what they're saying, isn't it? That's what they're alluding to. To trap it, you need a license. No one wants to catch this vicious owl. There's not really a plan for it. There you go. Yeah.
Who's that?
Liz.
Is that Liz?
Yes.
Oh, she looks awful.
She's got really big feet.
Massive feet.
Massive shoes on. Yeah.
Jimmy Savile's jacket.
They look like owl skin shoes. Like two corpses of an owl on the end of her feet.
Plan for it. What does that mean? Usually people would have a plan.
Sounds threatening, isn't it?
Yeah, you could blow it out the sky.
Yeah, so there we go. Series of attacks are continuing. I mean, the story goes on. If you want to find out, then please do read the
blah 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 blah. 6 deaths.
Yada 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 yada. Yeah, there we go. Bad news.
Bad news.
Bad news. Jimmy, we've covered quite the gamut this evening. I think we've done quite well to get a show out for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we smashed it.
We have done well, mate, and it's been an absolute pleasure as always.
Oh, it's been lovely to be back.
Yes, isn't it just? All that's really left for me to do is thank those in the chat who got involved. So let's just do that. Thank you to John Simmons. Hope you're having a lovely meal, John, and hello to all. On table 33, hello. Rock joined us. Lovely to have you, Rock, as always. Lord Doolin was about. Neil J, thank you for joining us, Neil. Always put some nice comments in the chat. In the after the show, does Neil? Like on the
bloody
comments
good man. Bloody good bloke.
On the YouTubes. Who else do we have? I think that was it.
I think that was it for chat tonight.
Yeah, but thank you for joining us, one and all. Audio of this podcast will be up over the weekend, usually tomorrow. I give this all a bit of a tidy and optimize it. So if you want to listen to us on your commutes, you can download that and fill your boots. Right. Anything else you want to say, Jimmy, or should we send it off?
No, it's been lovely to be back. Thank you for having me, Stu.
No,
Thank you to everyone who's listened, and we'll see you next Friday when we don't have Adam Howden on next Friday, do we? It's Friday after.
No, it's next Friday.
It's next Friday. Yeah, so if you're going to want to listen
21st. Yeah, 21st.
If you want to listen, he's going to be on for, we'll probably have him on for about, I reckon Adam will stay for about an hour, to be honest.
Oh, nice.
If you've got any video game questions or questions about his new Doctor Who show, send us the questions and we will ask him.
Yeah, let us know. One last comment from Neil. Cheers, guys. Missed about 40 minutes, but we'll catch up over the weekend. No problem. That's what the on-demand is there for. Right. Thank you all. Until next week, all that's left for me to say is please take care and goodbye.